What is going on, everybody? It is episode 362 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name's Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I guess it's not that much of a surprise now that we have the PTZ, but Dane is back today.
Hello, everyone. I was just out getting some cigarettes.
Yes, you decided to come back after all.
Went out with some cigarettes, a gallon of milk, and
you never came back.
I forgot the gallon of milk.
You did come back.
I might go get it later.
Afterwards.
Oh, darn.
Afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's actually one of my favorite subgenres of Instagram comedy that might be the most
Father leaving their children.
It's a whole subset of people who make comedy based on just dad leaving.
Why is it always that? There's no other excuse.
It's always cigarettes in milk or cigarettes in beer. Yes.
Dude, Brett navigates the darkest areas of the internet.
The stuff I send Dane is amazing.
He sends me some memes there. I'm like, how is this legal?
It's what I do best is I parse through all of the internet and find you the one I sent you the other day wasn't that bad. I was surprised the Ash Ketchum rap song. You were like, what? Where the hell do you find this stuff?
It's not because it's unsavory. It's because it's like.
Where's it coming from?
Yeah, it's like the person that did this has a manifesto as well, you know?
Well, I
just waiting.
Like, stuff like that reminds me more of, the days of old on the internet when you saw a lot of, we got a $20 one right there.
Decoy Voice, thank you, said, here's to another great episode.
Yes, my friend. How you doing? Hope you're doing good.
Thank you, Decoy.
For me, for a lot of stuff, it reminds me of the old days of the internet, especially of YouTube, where it's like, have you ever seen there's an amazing YouTube animation that somebody made for the Weird Al song, The Night Santa Went Crazy, where he animates Santa Claus basically going on a mass spree where he takes out everyone. Yes, where he takes out everyone at the North Pole. And a guy just did a animation of that. That's old.
You would think it would be
YouTube.
A rogue elf.
Yeah, well, you'd think. Well, no, the elves that survive in that song all end up working for the Postal Service.
Were you guys savvy of YouTube before it got bought by Google?
I had YouTube in 2005.
Dude, it freaking ruled because for 2 weeks, every time a movie could come out, you could see it on YouTube.
Yeah,
it didn't have the software to take it all down automatically.
It was bought in what, 2010?
I don't remember.
Probably earlier.
Around that time. But yeah, because back in the day that's how skating edits were some of the first type of things that went up on YouTube, because it was a place where you could host videos if you didn't have a website, because back then you had to have a web. You'll never understand the days where you had to have a QuickTime link to a website if you just wanted somebody to see your video on the internet. It was a long process. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about Jonathan Majors. He's back, and they've got the break glass in case of emergency excuse ready for this trial as lawyer is crying racism. I actually do have a few general questions where I don't think it's an unfair thing to ask questions on, but the lawyer's not looking to be fair. The lawyer's just looking to change public perception by playing the race card. So we'll talk about that. Chelsea Handler is unfortunately back in the news, and unfortunately that requires us to watch a video, which means that I will give you guys a warning before we put it on screen. It's not a trigger warning. It's a trigger warning. No. Chelsea Handler wearing less than a full bodysuit is a trigger warning.
Okay, she's a good-looking woman, though.
I'm gonna pass.
She's good-looking, but she is annoying.
No, she's annoying looking.
The two things can exist at the same time. This is just like our Brie Larson debate.
Not in this. No, it is not.
Especially with milk toast looking white blonde women.
She is not good looking. I protest. And not too much.
AOC is good looking.
No, AOC is good looking. I agree with that. Chelsea Handler is not.
They all end up agreeing with me in the end.
You will never.
She's just objectively a good looking woman.
No, she's not.
It's Chelsea's.
No, I'm saying no.
All right.
I'm putting my foot down here.
All right.
Okay. We'll talk about this.
Brett would not.
I will not. We're going to talk about it today. We are also going to talk about Elizabeth Holmes. She is back in the news. She's facing an 11-year prison sentence, speaking out for the first time in 6 years. So we will discuss that. And also, we're going to talk about influencers in France are now going to have to worry because the government's cracking down on them. They're going to regulate the influencers out there. Isn't that crazy?
I'm happy about this.
Very, very happy about that.
Less gambling ads, please.
Yeah, less crypto, less gambling ads, and less makeup. Well, what are the other big ones? Crypto.
You have to disclose the use of filters on any posts that are ads. you have to give warnings for gambling and betting advertisements.
Totally reasonable.
Yeah, especially because those are a lot of the times aimed at children.
I feel like half the ads I see on Twitter are gambling site ads with like Charles Barkley and other people in them.
Me too.
Right?
We're gonna get
Yeah.
into it. I've seen like even mainstream celebrities doing it.
Yeah. Well, Charles Barkley was a mainstream, so he was a pro basketball player back in the 90s.
But like more like young celebrities too.
Yeah, they have way more influence, I think, nowadays too, with the size of their social media presences. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into, and I've got quite an extensive list of little things I want to cover first. So if you guys are ready, we will get right into it. Mary, are you ready?
Yeah.
Dane,
let's
are
go.
you ready?
Yes.
Now that you're back with your milk and your
Not the milk.
Yeah.
I
And
gotta
your
go
toast.
get out the milk. I have the cigarettes.
Right, we're going to get right into it, guys. So, Hannah Claire is not here today, and that is unfortunate because I sent her this article the other day, and it says this company is offering $1,000 to watch all the Fast and the Furious movies. She could have been monetizing this whole process the whole time. Isn't that insane?
It's not too late.
Nope.
I want to do it.
You should.
How do I sign up?
So, well, you've got till May 19th, and basically they're setting this up
May
because
19th, I have 10 days,
Yep.
one movie a day.
yeah, well, I think they want you to watch them all in a row. So it says we're looking for someone. We're looking for someone to watch all 10 Fast and the Furious movie franchise movies. That's more than 20 hours of NOS-fueled saga during which you'll track damages from all the cars. This is from a company called Finance Buzz. We wondered what would the kind of driving Fast and the Furious movie type do to your auto insurance costs, states the statement. Okay. I didn't say that. They said that. To find out, the company is compiling a list of movie accidents. They want to see if the number of wrecks in these actions has increased or decreased over the course of the franchise. You know what it reminds me of? Honest Trailers does the thing where they like list what the injuries would be in a movie. Like every time somebody takes a bad fall, they have like a doctor be like broken tibia, broken fibula, like cracked ribs, and then they like total up like what the insurance, like what the medical costs would be for all of the injuries in movies and stuff like that, and damage reports.
So you have to sit down and watch all the movies at once.
I mean, are they
Without
providing you the
sleeping?
Adderall to do that? Like, I don't think
Is
anyone
that
can
implied?
do that. No, maybe it just has to be done by a certain
You have to
day.
soil yourself.
This was
Yeah.
definitely written by ChatGPT.
Yes. It says this is a U.S. only deal, and if you are a movie buff, particularly a Vin Diesel movie buff, fill out the form before it expires on May 19th.
Do you have to be a first-time watcher?
It does not state you have to be a first-time watcher.
Brett, you should do this.
It might even be easier if you've seen the movies a number of times. Like you're like, oh, I remember that accident. I remember that accident.
You should definitely do this.
I mean, my views have definitely fallen off as the movies get. Like I've only seen 8 and 9 once each. The rest of them I've seen.
Oh,
bunch of
well
times.
then.
Like
the last one I saw is the one the last Paul Walker one.
7.
Yeah.
It goes downhill at 8. It's just,
really?
It yes.
Does it?
Yes, it does. They're not great, but they're worth seeing on the big screen.
What about Cocaine Cub?
I can't wait for all of the
Yeah,
all the cocaine movies. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be great. All right, and a couple of other short announcements here. Daredevil Born Again has been put on hold because there is a writers' protest going on right outside in front of the studio, so they suspended.
In front of Marvel Studios.
I don't know if they're filming at Marvel Studios per se, but wherever they're filming this offsite.
Question: Are we pretending that we care about that one? The writer's strike, that the worst, most untalented people in the nation want more money.
Yeah.
To write
and
basically.
this show, Daredevil Born Again, which we're not excited about.
No, that I've had the excitement literally drained out of me because of how much I love the original Daredevil series.
They're writing the equivalent, the literary equivalent of like non-racist Baby, but like on television.
Yeah, kind of.
This is kind of what we wanted.
Yeah,
Yep.
It makes me sad. And also, Hogwarts Legacy passes $1 billion. Damn, dude. In only a couple of months of being out. Like 3 months of being out.
Transphobes are loaded.
Yeah, dude. Well, I don't know if anybody should be buying something just to own the other side.
Someone literally did that and bought it for Dane live on air.
Yep.
You know, I haven't played it because my computer can't handle it.
You got to write
Really?
it.
Oh.
Yeah, my computer
That's a shame.
sucks.
Yep. Oof, there's some spicy comments in there in the chat there. We're not addressing those.
Okay.
So $1 billion in just a couple of months, and now the TV show's coming out. You know, I'm more weary of that TV show the more I think about it because I don't know how they're going to get those kids done with that show before they all turn, become adults.
Do boycotts actually mobilize the opposite side
No, I mean
support
Bud Light is screwed right now because they walked back what they said, and now both sides hate them.
Exactly. I saw there were trans activists on Twitter literally saying Bud Light isn't actually being sincere. They said they were sorry, so we're not going to support them either.
Well, one of the problems with that is a lot of people have been tricked, and this goes for both sides, have been tricked into believing that these companies, these massive companies, actually support your values. Do you actually think that anyone at Budweiser really cares about flying the American flag? I don't. I think it's a company that has a brand that they're selling you. When
they put out that non-apology word salad PR statement, I can't believe anyone was shocked. Yeah. I'm shocked that they're shocked that that was an insincere woke gesture in the first place. And both sides should not be looking for sincerity from these companies. They really shouldn't.
Dude, you know what? What I feel like I could have predicted that whole situation instantly.
We got a $20 one right there. Guitarist Gabe. Someone super chatted Timcast IRL last night asking for Wendigoon to go on IRL, and I agree. Plus, I am once again asking the PCC gang to get Wendigoon on the show. Love the show. Keep up the good work, guys, and Ghost Girl. We were actually just looking into that.
Who's that?
Last night.
YouTuber. I've been talking. I'm talking quite a bit with Aiden Mattis these days, and the hope would be that we can get Wendigoon on here at some point. It'd be great to have him on.
He's notoriously hard to reach.
Yes, so we're working on it.
How about you guys go tell him?
Yeah. Also, guys, I'm always happy. One thing that I'm always looking for is suggestions for people who they think would be great to have on here. Mm-hmm. Lore Lodge was one of those suggestions, and we had a great time talking to Aiden. So if you guys have suggestions on who you'd like to see on here, who you think is a good fit for this show, just remember the format. Throw those names our way, and we will look into it.
So, Dane, you were saying.
Dude,
Don't you hate that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's the hardest.
Oh, yeah, the Bud Light lady.
Yes.
So I knew it was going to go south because every time I'm working with a woman that's in advertisement, and they have to market towards women, they do the most condescending stuff possible.
In what way?
Every time, all the sexist remarks for women, no one executes them more on the nose than women themselves.
Can you give me an example?
Well, I mean, literally the partnership with Dylan Mulvaney is here's this cheap imitation of you because you're such a clown.
No, they'll be I bet the board meeting was well, this is all women care about nowadays. They'll eat this like slop, and we're trying to sell this beer to women.
The recording of her was more we need to ditch our racist frat boy fan base and move on to something more mature and refined.
Because women like Bud Light.
Yeah.
That's what
Women don't even like beer.
I know, they hate it.
Period. But
well, it's this IPA or something.
And the ones that do, they put on the freshman 15 very quickly in college. Also, what was the other thing to say? Do you think that wasn't there a dress company, a famous women's dress company that just had a man do a bunch of their dresses?
That was the Anthropology did an ad with a man who modeled all of their dresses.
And now they're getting backlash.
Yeah.
It's nobody can.
And that I wouldn't have expected because the clientele for Anthropology is just leftist white women.
Was Anthropology the guy that's a Mother Nature?
I don't think so.
It's not. I mean,
it was just an ad with music.
I just an article that I came across at a certain point. So, all right, I got a couple of other ones here. This first one really bugs me. It's about a show that got canceled called S.W.A.T. Okay, this is a show that stars Shemar Moore, and it got canceled after season 6. And the thing that when me and Mary were talking off air the other day, I was nobody is more willing to tell you that you're not allowed to like something than people on the internet who think a TV show you like sucks. Mm-hmm. Because I watched a thing where I follow a bunch of these accounts discussing film. They're very neutral, and they just give updates about what's going on in entertainment. And the comments, it was everyone came out of the woodwork to be nobody cares. Your grandpa's gonna miss the show and no one else. And it's all just people being dicks to people about stuff they like because it's a boomer show on CBS.
You're the grandpa.
I'm the grandpa. I mean, I don't watch this show, but I love Shemar Moore in Criminal Minds. But the point is okay, so it gets canceled before season 7, and then the outcry for it to come back is so great that they bring it back within a day for.
So it was just a publicity stunt all along. They never planned to cancel it.
They're only bringing it back for 13 episodes, so it's not getting a full season 7. But you can understand why.
It's longer than most seasons on Netflix these days.
Well, it's network TV, so it's about half of what they would.
That's like Community.
Yeah. So the problem here is that, like, look. Okay, so they cancel it likely because of the writer's strike. Like a lot of things that could that might have gotten renewed or would be on the edge right now of like maybe it'll get renewed, maybe it'll come back. They're just axing because of the writer's strike. In this case, they axe it and then the outcry is public and they bring it back. But it was what bugged me and what made me sad was Shemar Moore's take on this is he brought race and diversity into it. And he is in the past, at least as far as I remember back in the day, he never went there because he's
because it wasn't trendy.
It wasn't and he's mixed race. His dad, I believe, is black and his mom is white, or the other way around, right? So it's like it never seemed like it was that important of a thing to him. And to see him then use it in what he says is he goes, "SWAT got canceled. It makes no sense. Look up the articles. Read the articles. We're the best show on Friday nights at 8 p.m. for CBS." For the last 2 years, we've been killing it, Morse said in this video. He did a video talking about it. He goes, us and that fire show, the fire show that comes on right after us. They're talking about Fire Country. And respect to those brothers and sisters, respect to them. We've done nothing wrong. We did everything that was asked, that we were asked for. And let me tell you the truth. We're diverse. Did you know I am the only African-American male lead on network television? Not streaming, not cable, network television. I'm the only African male lead on television. He continued before people bringing up NCIS LA and that LL Cool J does that show.
BET exists.
But he's talking about network television, so he's talking about not cable. Right, and he's technically for the most part right, but what he's wrong about here is that Hollywood went woker. There are 3 black women leading network television shows: Niecy Nash, Angela Bassett, and Queen Latifah all lead network television shows. So the woke train passed the rest of them. So that's a problem. And it bums me out that he ended up bringing this into it because then he goes on. He says he went on to call SWAT the most diverse show on CBS as if that's what pays the bills. It's not what pays the bills. I'm sorry. Saying that the network was getting a lot of flack for lack of diversity when they hired him to front the series. That is true. It's CBS, which is literally if all of network TV is for your grandpa, CBS is for your great grandpa. That's pretty much a fact of the matter. He goes, if I post this, and I think I might, I will get in a lot of trouble with CBS because I'm calling them out because they've been wonderful to me for the 26 of my 29-year career. So they've been nice to you for almost 30 years and you don't get your way one time and you make a video and you cry racism. He's
complaining that he's the man.
But to abruptly get told you're canceled when you led us to believe last week that before this there might be some semblance of a season 7, at least to say goodbye, if not continue, and then abruptly be told you're done, there's a lot of politics. He's blatantly ignoring the writer's strike. And he's kind of tacitly admitting there that they were already considering possibly either cutting it back, right? Mm-hmm. But he brought race into it, and I hate that. Like, he didn't need to do that, and he did, and it makes me sad.
When people play that card, I don't feel bad for them anymore.
Well, yeah, and I do. Like, he put them in a hard place because now they have to acquiesce. Right? Like, I don't know if this was a black...
They're not going to, though.
But they did. They brought the show back. I don't know if...
Limited, but
they
was
did.
Like, here's a cookie, you know?
But it could cost them, like, this could be a... But no, there's a lot of risk there because bringing a show like this back during a writer's strike may be seen as a slight against the WGA when they're trying to remain as neutral as possible. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, if anything, they would be happy that this is happening because they want to see.
So do you want woke points for racial diversity or do you want woke points for siding with a union?
Yeah, you can't win. It's all forms of wokeness and you lose either way.
It's a shame because he plays like a very wholesome American protagonist.
Yeah,
you know
he is.
What I mean?
Strong alpha male, strong alpha male protagonist. I mean, that's what most of his characters are,
and kind of like sensitive as well.
Yeah, so it's like it's great for that, but I don't think he realized that he's like he can't beat out the strong pull that Hollywood has right now to like black females leading TV shows, which is a huge thing. And a lot of them are getting left in the dust. So he wasn't woke enough for them. So he used another card in the woke race card to try and get points on his side. And I almost was sad that they brought it back because I know that in a lot of ways it's like, sure would be a shame if I was to make you look bad on the internet. You know, it's basically like the mob shaking you down for money. You know, they get to use those tactics. It's a weird form form of like it's not cyber terrorism, but it kind of is.
It's straight up race hustling,
Yeah.
and I don't respect it.
It makes me sad because
I mean, make your own network if you think that CBS is full of a bunch of racist old white men.
a bunch of people, Jay-Z and a couple of other people have been getting together. They want to buy BET.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was just reading that just recently. Does
BET have a parent company?
I don't know.
Viacom.
Like, and it's like owned by like because there was a great meme. It's just like the owners of BET. It's just a family of white people, like.
Yeah.
But then the guy, I think, who's the other one in charge? There was another guy who's in charge of BET. I remember him doing an interview where he said like Trump wasn't that awful or something like that, and people were shocked because it was like the guy, the head of BET at the time, who was a black man, was like Trump's not that awful, and people were like shocked by it.
I don't think they should be, but
On Twitter, there was a list that was circulating. There was the 50 worst white guys in history. Yeah.
Who was on it?
Ron DeSantis, Trump, did a bunch of...
How can you even put Ron? He hasn't been around long enough to make enough decisions to get him on that list.
Dude, he's like 49.
Was Mussolini on that list? If Mussolini was...
I think Hitler was one.
he was Italian. That doesn't count.
Doesn't count? Wait, that doesn't count?
I'm kidding.
Italian doesn't count now?
He was spicy white.
Yeah, was he southern? Was he from the southern part of Italy or
And
not?
Trump
Yeah.
was like 14.
Who was number one? Hitler,
yeah,
of course,
obviously.
of course. Who's number two? Do you remember who number two was?
Nah.
I need to know who number two was. Like, you just know it was not any.
It was a bunch of Republicans and then historical figures.
Communists might have been at like 50 if at all on the list
No,
at
they
all.
weren't at
They
all.
weren't on the list at all. Yeah.
Doubt
It just makes me sad because I see somebody like this who and these are the ones I have the hardest time with. If this is some actor I've never heard of before, it doesn't bother me. I get the tactic. I think it's crappy and slimy, but then you see it for somebody who made it through, like you said, 30 years of a career, almost 30 years of a career without having to negotiate these types of tactics, and to see them fall into it is a shame.
It's because wherever the public discourse goes, wherever the Overton window goes, they're going to follow. It's not because he had so much integrity in the first place that he didn't race hustle.
I wonder
He's
if,
just a vessel for wherever the discourse takes him.
or I wonder
Whatever
if,
is gonna, be profitable.
I keep thinking that a lot of these, it's not the actors themselves, but their PR people and their lawyers being like, listen, there's historical precedent for pulling one of these stunts and getting your way.
That's even worse. That means he just acquiesces to what they ask him to do, even if he doesn't agree with it.
I mean, wouldn't you follow your legal counsel?
I mean, I'm never going to be important enough to have legal counsel, so it's not going to be a problem.
But, I mean, theoretically is what I'm saying.
Management, not legal counsel, but management, yeah.
No, but I bet he's consulted by he's definitely wealthy and famous enough to have legal counsel, and I bet they're like, hey, baby, if you want to race, just say it's racist.
Well, the day that they kick me off of PCC, I'm pulling the race card with the fact that
'Cause you're
I'm
a
Slavic,
Slav.
and that technically makes me a person of color.
And then I pull out my 23andMe and it has Russian in it.
No!
Like, boom.
We're going to substitute you both with Monique. We're just going to clone Monique.
We could do that.
Okay.
We're going to have two Moniques.
So, no, how about we have Monique and Missy Elliott?
That'd be kind of based, honestly.
Missy Elliott's getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this weekend.
The thing is, who would be Missy Elliott and who would be Monique?
She would be Missy Elliott. I'll be Monique.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll be Monique.
My history teacher was
Props.
like obsessed with telling us the story that he grew up on the same street as Missy Elliott and like they played hopscotch together and stuff.
I mean, I brag about that too.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, if I were him.
I imagine those stories have gotten more fans. So and she was rapping while she was playing hopscotch. I remember it clear as day.
And then everyone around me who doesn't know who Missy Elliott is because they're all like sheltered homeschoolers are like, huh? What are you talking about?
I was about to ask if you guys knew who Missy Elliott was. I know you
I
do.
did, but I don't think many other people did.
Okay, well.
All right. It makes me sad. Shemar Moore. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. Also, guys, Egypt is firing back at Netflix because Netflix is making Black Cleopatra. Well,
No way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Netflix is doing.
No, I know that, but what's Egypt saying?
Egypt is making their own version of it in response to Netflix.
They're making a documentary about
Yeah.
Queen Cleopatra in a racially accurate way.
You know what they should call it? They should call it Netflix Queen Cleopatra.
She's super pale in this illustration.
Yeah.
But she was Greek Macedonian.
Yep. It says an Egyptian channel has begun producing a documentary on Cleopatra that will adhere to historical accuracy in response to the revisionism peddled by Netflix so-called docu-series. I love the so-called docu-series part.
I think this is like
petty.
pointing out the inconvenient truth that a lot of people around the globe are racist, not just white people. Yep. Not that I'm saying it's like racist to point out that Cleopatra wasn't black, but it's like there are mixed motivations here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what would happen if like we went over to Africa and some place in Africa they're making like a Neil Armstrong documentary and Neil Armstrong is black? Like that's just weird.
I'm telling you, it only gets fixed with a white Black Panther.
Yes.
That's when it's like, okay, we're even.
No, or somebody finally makes the Ryan Gosling Obama documentary where Ryan Gosling plays Barack Obama.
Dude.
Like, I'm okay with that. Like, if for no other reason than the lulz.
Can we have Rachel McAdams as Michelle?
Yes.
Oh.
Do you remember that absolutely dog poop clip that I sent you about the First Lady?
Yeah.
The guy that played Obama with absolutely no charisma.
Yeah. Oh yeah, from the TV show that nobody watched.
Yeah.
That was like a BET.
Viola Davis.
Oh my! I mean, Viola Davis.
But the guy who played Barack Obama had exactly zero charisma.
I mean, no one liked Viola Davis's performance in that either.
Yeah.
They were like, why is she pursing her lips so much?
Well, I mean, Michelle Obama does do that. Like
does she?
Oh yeah.
Or is that just the way they look?
No, that's she does. I mean, if she's not doing it on purpose, maybe it's like literally how she prevents herself from like telling Barack to shut the hell up. Like she just wants to constantly tell him to shut up, and she has to like. She'd win in 2024 if she ran though.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I think it's gonna
No
happen.
way.
Oh, yeah.
No
She
way.
wins. I'm with Adrian Norman on this. If she wins, she wins.
I think it's gonna happen.
Wins, yeah.
We have such an incestuous like oligarchy running this
Yeah.
country.
As like every time somebody says oligarchy, James O'Keefe should just fall from the ceiling and start singing oligarchy.
Dude,
I
Can he play that now? Or is that copyrighted to Project Veritas? I need to know.
I don't know. All my progressive coworkers when I worked in DC called her mom.
What?
All my progressive
They called Michelle Obama mom.
That's so embarrassing.
swear to God, mom.
That's so embarrassing.
Mommy issues right there.
And so that they won their mommy back.
Yikes.
That's terrifying.
They got grandpa now. So.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got another one here. This one upset me, annoyed me. Well, I won't say upset. It annoyed me. Kevin Costner's work schedule was very hard on wife, source says. She wasn't happy about it. And the article boils down to her husband was never home, so she's divorcing him, thus making sure that he's never at home. Which makes no sense.
If you want a rich husband, it usually means that he works all the time.
Exactly. There was a viral video at one point where this lady who's like, she doesn't describe herself as like a self-described gold digger, but she's like I married a wealthy guy because I wanted the wealth and the status, and she says like you have to get used to being home alone a lot.
I mean, I thought that's why a lot of gold diggers wanted to be with rich men, is because they wanted to be left alone to do their shopping.
Yeah, you'd think, right? But it says
and cheat.
I would never presume to assume that that's what happened, right?
No.
But so Costner is 68 and she's 49, and it's just this article is full of just like, oh well, it must be. Why would he be at work all the time on his famous Yellowstone TV series that everybody loves? It says Christine wants them to spend family time at the Santa Barbara home. Well, I wonder how that home got paid for. Does anybody have any ideas? Do you think she paid
Does
for
she
that
have
one?
a career?
There wasn't a name I recognized, so if she does,
she like in Hollywood?
if she is, she's not Kevin Costner Hollywood. That is for sure.
Dude, this is a classic chick move.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
This is from like Hall of Fame, top 10.
Yeah.
She gonna Bezos him?
Christine doesn't
Maybe.
want him to throw himself into another project. He's been obsessed with with filming Yellowstone. She wasn't happy about it. Well, you know what? You want the money, you want the cars, you want the home in Malibu or wherever the hell that was. Daddy's got to go to work. I'm sorry.
Did they have kids?
It didn't seem like, yeah, they say family time.
kids.
Yeah, so it says Kevin hasn't been home very much for quite some time due to filming.
Well, it wouldn't be such a problem if they had kids, right?
Yeah, it says all of the success and excitement over the new project probably took his attention away from his family more than you realized. I mean, he also wears a shirt that says, I'm a Liz Cheney guy, so
What?
maybe I don't feel that bad for him.
Cringe.
But I'm just saying, like, so the idea here is that, look, your husband's never at home, so you're going to divorce him as the show's about to end. It's literally in its last season. Like season 5 will be its last season.
Sus.
And it's super sus, right? Like,
well, it doesn't mean that he's done working. I think she
would have more of a
rightly predicted that he's going to continue working for the rest of his life. This is kind of going back to a point
they have several
that I
kids.
made about.
They're saying in the chat that they have several kids.
Okay.
So
how old are the kids? They must be adults by now. So like empty nester.
Dude,
she's ruminating on it too much, letting it. Well,
also pool boys glistening.
Yes, it's also impossible to believe. It's not like she can't go out and live with him out there, or get like he wouldn't be able to buy her a condo out there. So in this case, she's like, I want to be out here in this house. I don't want to be at that house, and you're not here at this house because you have to go work to pay for this house.
But this is kind of my point that I was saying. Like, actors and actresses can't be normal people. They can't have normal functioning relationships because their job is to constantly be moving to set to set and like going to tropical islands that are basically summer camp for 6 months to a year at a time.
I still feel like she would have more.
And then at the same time, they do like romantic and sex scenes with other people.
Yeah.
I still feel like she would have more of a leg to stand on if like they stuck it out through the end of Yellowstone and then he moves on to the next project, right?
Well, there's no good reason to
just
divorce just because of his work. Like, that's not a valid reason to. It
just makes me sad because it's but you're right, Dane. This is classic. This is a classic Hollywood chick move, right? Like, oh well, man, it's so hard being the wife of a celebrity.
I want to know. We know that divorce is like way more common in Hollywood than it is for the rest of the population, but I want to know how many of the divorces in Hollywood are initiated by the man versus the woman.
I think it might actually be possible that in Hollywood that it's more likely that maybe the man initiates it more than you think.
No way.
Not more, but I'm saying more on average than the general population.
There would be
in the
something different about it.
80-20.
80 to 20, but in Hollywood, maybe because men are so feminized, they initiate more divorces there because they're like, I've used up this model. I need to lease another woman for another 5 to 7 years and then divorce her.
I think they're only fake feminine.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're actors.
Yeah, you have to be like preoccupied with your looks and your image
and your feelings.
And tapping into them all the time.
I guess.
Look, it's just it makes me. I just don't get the logic, right? Of saying like you're not around enough, therefore I'm going to make sure you're not around at all.
Do you guys think Henry Cavill's fake?
No. Henry Cavill is fake? What do you mean?
I'm asking. Do you think he's kind of like fake?
Like a fake persona? Or?
Yeah. Because he's kind of perfect, right? He's very handsome, but somewhat a nerd.
It sort of does give me the Keanu Reeves feeling. Like, why does everyone kind of idol worship?
Because the stories are also very well placed.
Yeah.
Like the story about how he missed the call that he got the Superman role because he was playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
like it's just so perfectly.
He's so buff and building a PC.
Yeah.
I'm pogging at this.
Because I'm a nerd, but Warhammer's like next level.
But we're all willing to like. If we're all being fair, everyone's willing to accept that they're being lied to a little bit if it makes them feel good. They are.
Sure.
They are. A little bit. Like, you're like, do I buy 100% that he's like this perfect person? No, but I'm willing to be lied to in this respect. I would, however, believe more that Tom Cruise is even faker than Henry Cavill.
You're being glib.
True.
No, I'm not.
That's his line.
He's quoting Tom Cruise.
You're being glib.
Oh.
Matt, you're being glib.
No, that's look. I just
fake Tom Cruise fan over here.
Been a long time. Like I'm just saying. I like. It seems like there's more financial incentive for Tom Cruise to be fake than there is for Henry Cavill because it just seems to It just seems to keep coming back to bite Henry Cavill in the ass. He loses jobs. He's not gaining jobs by doing this.
I mean, he'll be just fine.
Yes, of course. All right.
Just bad luck lately.
I'm just I'm not a fan of this whole Christine divorcing Kevin Costner thing, even if he is a Liz Cheney fan, which shows questionable judgment in women to begin with.
Seriously.
So, it's like those memes. It says like Taylor Swift makes 29 songs about breaking up with men, votes for Joe Biden or something like that.
Also, like Liz Cheney fan. What are we doing? Yeah.
Well, he wants to bring back the old, like he misses the days when America invaded Iraq and Afghanistan.
That's so niche, though.
He wants to get back to the neoliberal days.
When we could all unite on something.
Who's he trying to reach out with Liz Cheney fanship? Like,
Have you seen people in shirts that say "I miss Obama" before?
Yeah, I mean, but that's more dignified than Liz Cheney.
I suppose so. Just barely.
Easy says no. He has gained jobs. Yeah, he got the job on The Witcher, I guess, because he was also a fan of the games and stuff like that. But I also feel like his desire to be like faithful to source material and his refusal to push back and call fans toxic has cost him a lot of goodwill in the industry. It might have gained him goodwill with us, but he's lost goodwill within the industry. I'm not a fan of. You liked Enola Holmes. I did not like Enola Holmes.
It really bothered me.
I
couldn't get through the first one.
See, I don't like everything. There you go. More proof that I don't like everything.
I just thought it was a good popcorn flick.
Everyone thinks I love everything. I don't love everything. Not everything. All right. What would you like to do first? Cringe of the day or cute of the day?
The dogs.
That's cute of the day.
That's cute of the day.
Yeah, that one.
It's not always dogs. We had turtles recently.
Oh, well.
Yep, there were turtles there.
They're evolving.
All right, here we go.
A raccoon as well. A ferret.
First things first. This is from Shane H. Wilder. Says, at Brett Dasovic, if you've got room for tomorrow, I was digitizing some old photos from my mom and found a few of their cat, Weefus. This first one is of him sitting on my dad's head and also their cat, Squeaker. If it's fitting, use them for a bit for PCC Pets Throwback Thursday. Well, it's not Thursday, but I'm going to... Oh, my God. It's right there. It's amazing.
Oh, that's okay.
Blending in. I like the name Weefus. It
Yes.
really fits him.
Wow, those are some good... I like it. Those are some good-looking cats. There's giving Bogus.
Who's the other cat?
It's giving Squeaker.
It's giving.
Yes.
Cute.
That is an adorable cat.
What
I
a
like
champion.
the mustache.
Yes, I like it. All right, let's do a couple more here. Thank you, Shane H. Wilder. This is from Mississippi Girl on Twitter at PCC Pets. Brown is a ranger and black is a lily.
Oh, look at that pupper.
It's making a heart. It's adorable.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
What are they, perfect?
Kind of.
Jesus.
They're kind of perfect. They are. Let's do one more. Thank you. What was the name? It's Mississippi Girl, 1996. Thank you. And one more here from Riley on Twitter. Says, this is Jill, Yellow Lab, and Harper, Black Lab, trying to share a chair. Oh, I
didn't even see the black lab. I thought that was a pillow.
Oh, poor Harper is just being sat on. It's like Bokus will do that sometimes. Like, Bokus never wants your attention when you want to give Bokus attention, but whenever you're busy watching something, Bokus will then come in and like sit on you.
His meows have become so high pitched. It's kind of crazy.
Hungry Bokus is like that. Yes. All right, and we've got some cringe of the day as well. Mary, let's watch this one first. Oh, actually, I want to watch this. We'll show both of them. I'm going to show this one first.
Okay.
Can I say I've never been able to hear you guys' cringe of the day because they're super cringe, and I always have to take my headphones off because I can't handle it.
This one's not too bad, but it did make me feel a bit. I'm very worried about the future because you can't win. Just listen.
This person just came into the bar and said, "Hey, what are your pronouns? You kind of look like a they them." And
they were right.
I hated that they were right.
What you want? What you want? Say wrong pronoun bad. Say correct pronoun bad. What? What you want? You come by baby.
It's exactly right. That's it. She
Hell yeah,
verbalized
lady.
it perfectly.
I saw this video, but I was gonna send it to you, and I thought it was too controversial. So I was like, all right.
Too controversial.
Why? What's controversial about that?
Well, like gender stuff. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. Like wrong pronouns, right pronouns. You can never win. All right, and we've got this one. I've saved it. I haven't watched this one. This is from the...
This one's worse, guaranteed.
It says, tried to take a photo at the Renaissance Fair, and this happened. All right, let's full screen this. Hold on.
Lady, and welcome to the Renaissance Fair. My name is King Aragak.
Wait, sorry.
And I was wondering if you'd like to be my princess for the day.
Ah!
Very interested in your beauty fund.
Can you actually just take a photo of us?
Hold on, what is that? I don't actually know what that is because it is the year 1309. What is this? Some sort of mirror into the future?
He's all devoted
Wait,
to
play it again. Look at how he twirls. Look at the twirl.
And welcome to the Renaissance Fair. My name is
Hello, milady.
Aragak.
Wait, sorry.
And I was wondering if you'd like to be my princess for the day.
Look at the twirl. The twirl.
In your beauty fund.
Riz God.
Can you actually just take a photo of us?
Photo? What is that? I don't.
It almost feels fake. Like,
I don't know. Like, do you think?
Chris Hansen needs to get this guy's address.
It almost feels fake to me. like it can't be that embarrassing. Like it can't be.
know.
Like they can't be that vapid.
You think that was one of their friends?
He can't be. They can't be that
Staged?
vapid, and
They
he can't
twirled
be
him.
that clueless.
He twirled. He like made her twirl him. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
She didn't
Oh my god.
volunteer that.
Like the level of vapid that they give off is so strong. Like it almost feels fake.
They're not vapid. They were just like, okay, we're trying to take a picture.
Yeah, they're like, we look hot right now. Super hot.
And he's like, "Milady, what is a picture?"
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Imagine.
Yeah, it's very
Some kind of portal.
into the future.
Does it capture your soul?
Oh goodness. Well, now that that's done, let's get started,
that was-
shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get
Yeah.
into Jonathan Majors. So this has been in the news so much lately that when I was talking to Jessica about this morning before the show, she goes, "This guy again?" Yes, this guy again. Jonathan Majors' attorney claims that it's a racist witch hunt that's coming after him after his first post what do you call it? Post court appearance. He finally did
He did a court appearance.
like
I didn't know that
he
part.
was it was over Zoom, which must be nice that you can do court over Zoom.
Is that because of COVID, or are they just not trying anymore?
It's in New York, so it's probably because of COVID.
Amazing.
They probably still think it's COVID.
You know
so
that
yes.
it was just the other week the World Health Organization announced that COVID is no longer a public health emergency.
And even though
So
COVID is
I'm
no
waiting
longer,
for those Zoom meetings to go back in person.
Yep, and writers' rooms should all be
And
actual
writers'
writers'
rooms.
rooms rather than in person or rather than over Zoom calls. So yes, Jonathan Majors' attorney claims it was a racist witch hunt after the first post-hearing discussion. So let's talk about this. Do you think that that's actually what this is? Because let's go through it a little bit here.
Well, the
So-
rich part of this is that his legal team claims that they forked over what they say is irrefutable evidence that exonerates Jonathan Majors, meaning a video of him and his girlfriend, I assume, when they were in the car and the alleged assault happened, which they say proves he was innocent. And secondly, the body cam footage from police officers who they claim were coaching the girl on her testimony to incriminate him. Neither of which have been released yet. We just have stupid videos of her in the club afterwards with her broken finger.
which doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, it doesn't prove anything. And then here's this statement from the lawyer. Quote, when Mr. Majors showed a white police officer the injuries the woman caused him, the white officer got in Mr. Majors' face and taunted him, saying that if the officer were to slap Mr. Majors, the officer wouldn't break his finger. None of the white officers present investigated the assault of Mr. Majors. Worse, the district attorney has not indicated any intention to pursue charges against the woman or even investigate the truth.
That's not true either, because it's very easy to break a finger if you don't know how to punch someone correctly. So they're actually wrong about that.
Who came up with this angle?
But also it's like, so it's because they're white, right? What if they're just major feminists? Maybe this has nothing to do with the race. Maybe they're just really good allies to women, so
Right.
much so that they'll lie.
When you can't woke in two directions,
You can't.
this is what happens.
You have to pick your woke
But,
direction,
like,
one or the other.
Obviously we don't know the truth of what happened yet because none of that footage has been released yet, even though they say it exists. Here's the thing: he could either be truthfully accused of assault or falsely accused of assault. If he is being falsely accused and he's going for the race card angle where he's blaming the police officers who were trying to help the situation simply because they're white, there was no evidence of racism here, then I don't feel bad for you being falsely accused. You're throwing false accusations at other people too.
It's like the what's the quote? It's like extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So unless those cops said she could have done this, I could do this and not break my finger, insert slur here. Unless they actually said some type of slur. Oh, okay.
damn.
Big super chat from David, wouldn't you like to know? Says, I would not with Chelsea for fear of disease, but I would let her perform a, quote, handler on me.
I don't want to know, like, the last thing I want to know in history is that Chelsea Handler has her own signature sexual move. I don't want to know. Leave it alone.
Real classy.
Don't give her material for her next stand-up appearance.
Please don't.
Please.
Oh gosh. But I'm saying like extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Back in the day, you could just be a dick to someone and it didn't have to have anything to do with their skin color,
Nothing he said
their
makes
sexuality.
it an inherently racial or racist encounter. They say that he was taunted by the police officer. The police officer got in his face. What does that actually mean?
If the guy actually believes that you're beating a woman, whether that's true or not, his reaction is because of the gender of the person, not because of the skin color, theoretically.
Yeah, I think that this is a star who's expecting star treatment in all situations and is now realizing that he's not entitled to that because this is about the law.
Nor is anyone here saying that we believe he's guilty or innocent. We don't know. We'll never know, really. Not really.
He is wanting to be treated with star privilege in this situation.
You'll know
one day.
You'll know. Yeah. He wants. He's like, I'm a Marvel star.
Don't you know who I am? Do you know who my father is?
Do you think? Okay, I got a question. Do you think anybody who's ever said that has ever had the self-reflection where the moment they said that they immediately stopped and said, "I can't believe I just said that."
I mean, women in LA probably have said more often, "Do you know who my boyfriend is?"
Or my husband.
Or my husband.
They did that. They did that in an episode of The Mentalist where like he's like he stopped all these people in a mall and he stops this lady and she goes, "Don't you know who my husband is?" And she goes, "He's the head of the Modesto City Council." And he goes, "Oh, so and so. The diet pills are messing with your brain. This is the big city.
That Ozempic is messing with your brain."
Exactly.
Also, they're claiming that the police officers coached this woman to give a testimony that incriminated him worse off. But it actually sounded like her testimony was coached by Jonathan Majors.
With the conversation after the fact.
Yeah, completely exonerating him of all wrongdoing, but at the same time, kind of saying that she warranted getting assaulted by taking his phone.
Yeah.
Which
is just classic abuse.
It just makes her sound like a battered housewife.
Yeah. And again, I don't know whether any of this is true. I just know that playing the race card here feels like a desperation play for something where he feels like his star power should have gotten in the way first. They also keep saying that her story keeps changing, which is honestly, I do have to ask, why is this still being pursued so heavily?
She got a restraining order against him, right?
It just feels weird that this is being pursued so heavily. Given that he is a celebrity.
If the woman actually believes that Jonathan Majors was in the right in this situation, as her testimony claimed, then why did she get a restraining order against him?
No idea. It's it's the classic story. It's like, how many stories do you hear from cops who tell the story like they would when they go to houses of families that have turbulent lives of married folks, like they go there, she calls the cops, the cops get there and they try to take the guy away and the wife like punches the cops because she doesn't want them to take the guy away because they just have a turbulent relationship. And that's what a lot of this feels like to me.
So is the blonde woman in that still of the body cam footage the supposed girlfriend, or I guess ex-girlfriend now? But they keep
her face is blurred out and her name has not been released to the public as far as
it's like half of her face is showing, I guess. But this seemed like it was racialized from the start for no reason. Like, I saw so many people tweeting disgusting stuff about this situation at Jonathan Majors, saying he deserved to get falsely accused because he was dating white women. He was dating outside of his race. And it's like, you are psychotic.
Why are people so nuts? He should get Alec Baldwin's lawyer.
It's just so...
The Alec Baldwin defense was legitimately like, guys, are we still talking about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're about to hear him here in a minute here on the Crisis Party sound effects.
I murdered a woman in cold blood. Who cares?
Oh my God. Like seriously? Like, the Oscars were last night. Why are you still talking about this?
That was last year.
This was like a year ago now. Like,
honestly, he's right, though. Like, people memory hold these things so quickly that you would expect everyone to just stop talking about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, death on set is
we kind of did.
Death on set is a pretty big thing to happen. Like, people still talk about Brandon Lee dying all the time. Like, whenever that story comes up, the guy from the movie The Crow, the one who was killed on set in the movie, he's
so we're proving right now that
apparently
this has been memory hold.
Yeah.
It was Bruce Lee's son, and he died on set when a prop gun malfunctioned.
Oh, damn.
Back when they were making the movie The Crow.
And they were filming a scene at that moment.
Yeah.
See, this is different because like Alec Baldwin was just, joking around and just being a quirky, goofy guy.
I've got special Ian Crisis Party next week.
Oh my God. What?
See, Alec Baldwin's a bad person.
Do you?
Point proven.
Alec Baldwin is a bad person. The Crisis Party proves it.
That's what he was talking to his wife.
His
or
daughter.
something?
His 12-year-old daughter.
12-year-old?
12-year-old daughter.
He's like, wait till I see you.
It's like, I'm going to straighten your ass out.
Veiled threat.
Remember the, what's it called? The Baywatch guy that was eating burgers drunk?
Was it Hasselhoff?
Yeah.
Okay. The Hoff. Don't you dare hassle him. Leave him alone.
David Hasselhoff eating burgers drunk, and his family was like, Dad, you gotta stop. And he was like, I don't care.
I don't have to stop. I'm
You
Mitch.
can't cancel me.
He's like, I was on Knight Rider and Baywatch. Nobody cancels me.
The car talked, okay?
I love that car. My dad, I've told that story. I've told you that story. Hannah Claire was on that episode. When I was young, I had a little, I couldn't afford a Power Wheels, the car that has the little, like you can drive it as a kid. The little, I couldn't afford that. I was poor. But I had a little car that had pedals on it. So it looked like you're on, in a car, but you're actually on a...
Look at Brett pretend not to
and
be
my dad spray painted it black, and my grandfather spray painted it black and painted the logo and the red thing in the front where the voice would be made. So I had my own little version of
Oh,
Kit.
it's pretty based.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's cute.
Yes, I did. See, it's good to have a good childhood, and then you have good stuff to remember, and that way.
I just had the Barbie Jeep one.
So was
I
it
have
an
the
actual
thing.
Power Wheels?
I don't know.
Did it actually
Are there
drive?
different kinds? It
Well,
drive. Yeah, it's a drive.
We couldn't. My dad would have been like, I'm not spending the money on that. That's
Yeah.
never gonna happen. So I think Jonathan Majors needs to get Alec Baldwin's lawyer on retainer ASAP and get rid of this Priya Chaudhry.
There are
guy?
just so many violent
Or girl?
psychopaths in Hollywood, but they'll claim it's not a Hollywood problem.
No.
Dude, why would you ever go to law school when you can just be like, Your Honor, racism?
Case closed.
Anyway.
and judge is like, bet, yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Well,
For sure.
It was racism, no cap.
I sent Jessica a video last night where this
on God.
this lady does the thing where she lists behind her, it's got all of the Gen Z slang, and she goes through all of it.
They're calling them broccoli zoomers now.
Is that what
Why?
they're called?
Little broccolis.
Because of the hair?
Yeah, the hair.
Oh, okay.
The mushroom cloud hair.
It's like that. Somebody did a pop culture crisis Oppenheimer
saw it
meme,
with
and
Mary.
it makes my hair look like because I'm literally a mushroom cloud. I look like a Gen Z influencer in the background.
And we love that for you.
Yes, thank you. It's I didn't have any Adidas on, but if I had some Adidas shorts on,
When's that movie coming out?
mid-July. Yeah, that and Barbie same weekend.
Can't wait to see it.
Excited.
Me and
Barbie, I mean.
Oh gosh, me and Mary, we're gonna walk
She's
into the theater,
everything.
and
And
I'm
you're
walking
just
this
Dane.
way, and
Dude, you can. I bet that Barbie movie is gonna be absolutely bussin'. I bet it's gonna be incredible.
I guess Dane is actually the target demographic.
it's going to be feminist garbage.
No way.
Feminist
Why are you
garbage.
so
I think it's gonna be
confident about
funny.
that?
I think it's gonna be a funny one.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Have you seen the?
I'm happy to be wrong. See, you know why? Because if I'm happy to be wrong. That way, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I get a good movie. So
Oh.
I win either way.
Do you just want
Heads
to see
I win,
animals
tails you
doing
lose.
drugs?
Yeah.
Obviously, Oppenheimer's probably gonna be more high quality.
Well, yeah, but it's also really long, which is a problem. Like,
I bet Oppenheimer cost less to make.
I think.
in the Barbie movie.
Yeah, I bet.
They recreated that
Right?
explosion. Like they recreated the test in New Mexico.
Okay, but you can't. They didn't actually blow up a nuke. Like,
Maybe they did. Who knows? Christopher Nolan's got a lot of money.
Had they gone the Amy Schumer route and they had to pretend that Ryan Gosling's sexually attracted to her,
I'm glad
then-
that not only they didn't have her star as Barbie, they also did not even give her a cameo. They were like, just get out of this project
get out.
immediately.
But now that Barbie's hot, it has a chance.
Well, we'll see. I have no interest in it, but I'm gonna go see it in hopes that I would like to.
They do have a trans Barbie though.
See,
Just warning you.
woke.
Just one.
In the movie?
For one, yeah.
One.
As far as I know,
What do you mean?
it's confirmed. There is
Wait.
a trans Barbie.
There's multiple Barbies in the Barbie movie?
Yes.
Yeah, have you seen the trailer? She's like, "Hi, Barbie," and then the other one's like, "Hi, Barbie."
All the
like they're
women are
all
Barbie.
Barbie, and all the men are Ken.
But I feel is that gonna be like in Queen's Gambit that they just had a trans character and then they were like, okay, anyway.
They did?
Yeah.
It's set in like the 40s.
Yeah, but you know.
It doesn't matter.
They're everywhere.
Hollywood.
I'm just,
Cleopatra's black now. It doesn't matter.
You mean there was a trans character in Queen's Gambit who was trying to play a cis person?
I don't know.
Like someone who's not trans.
They didn't reference it in any way.
Weird.
They was just there. Look at me. Respecting
All right.
pronouns. And then
Maybe I shouldn't finish Queen's Gambit.
No, but it's just in the beginning, then you never see them again. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, no, I remember this now.
Yeah,
It was in the first season, which I did watch.
There's 2 seasons?
Jacob Edler has quoted perhaps my life's motto: "Those who expect little are seldom disappointed." Words to live by, King. Words to live by.
Yeah.
So true.
Look,
we've got a few super
let's
chats
do
to
it.
catch up on here. Ben Dillon said nerds. He called us nerds.
Oh yeah.
That is us. We are nerds.
Zelda's coming out on Friday.
Thanks.
Say that again.
Zelda's coming out on Friday.
There you go.
This is just where you guys get to bully us. Patrick Reichert said, "Love the show. Keep on doing your thing."
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks. We will. Deuce Boogaloo said, formerly Clef the Misfit.
No,
said,
it's over 9,000 above that, or do they show up in a different order there?
Oh, sorry. It's over 9,000. Said, Brett, did you ever see the show Human Target? It's about a bodyguard with a unique set of skills who protects his clients by secretly infiltrating their lives in order to draw out the threat.
I never got to see it. I did see when they did Human Target on Arrow, but I never saw the TV show version of Human Target. I do need to get around and watch that. That might be one of those ones that, because it was only, I think it only got like a half a season and then they canceled it. It might be hard to find, but I'm definitely going to have to get around and watching that one.
Isn't that just what a private investigator is? A bodyguard with a unique set of skills, secretly infiltrates the life of the client.
So it was Mark Valley. Yeah, see, it's nowhere to be found on. I'd have to buy the season, and I'm not buying the season. But if I was still a pirate, I would do that. But I'm not a pirate. I no longer sail the high seas. So.
Deuce Boogaloo said, I'd once again like to recommend bass musician Call Me Charisma as a guest. I think if he knew the angle you tackle culture from, he'd want to come on.
Let me write that down. What is that again?
Write that down. It's Call Me Charisma, but it's K instead of a CH, and then it's a Z instead of an S.
There's a $20 one.
Oh, Bullet Shepherd said Oppenheimer was a communist, so they'll never tell the truth in that movie, not seeing it.
Okay.
I didn't know that he was a communist. Is that true, or is that just your theory?
Jamie, pull that up. That's one of those things. Like,
prior to McCarthyism.
We should get Jaime.
Because it would have been the late 40s, right? Like, so we would have been in.
Was he really
World
a communist?
War II. It's like the Manhattan Project. Like when we were talking about the trailer the other day, and I went up and I just started like going through the Wikipedia page for the Manhattan Project, and realized that's one of those things that I should like look for more full length, like historical documentaries on to watch, because there's so much to it. I need to get around to doing that, but.
Gabby Hayes said, "Hey Dane, can you stop messing around and go Super Saiyan 2 on camera, please? Okay, thanks. Hello, Mary and Brett. Could you guys figure out a way to make Kellen realize the greatness that is Dune?"
You'd have a harder time convincing Tim. Tim walked out of Dune when we went to see Dune. He just got up and left. Yeah, he just got up and left. I had to finish it. Like, to be fair, because that was at the time when a lot of movies were coming out like day and date. I don't know if it came out right away, but I waited and then I watched it on streaming and I fell asleep. So
the main reaction I've seen, well, people said that about Blade Runner 2049 a lot too. They said that was like a slow movie. The main reaction I saw,
same director.
The main reaction I saw to that trailer though was people arguing about like who's more attractive, Florence Pugh or Zendaya.
Zendaya
yeah.
is the answer to that.
All
question.
of them were saying like Zendaya looks like shit in this trailer. Dude. Like.
Well, in
really,
the trailer,
like,
maybe
hating on her.
She's
Zendaya is a very beautiful woman, and Florence Pugh's been.
I feel like everyone has to like. They like feel like they have to say that Zendaya is attractive.
I don't. Nope, she's plenty attractive.
No, like I said, people feel like they have to say she's unattractive.
Oh, really? Why?
Really?
That's all it takes. I've been seeing recently.
I know. I've been seeing it too. It's because of this one shot where she has something up the nose.
I don't know.
She has like a breathing device in the nose, it seems.
Well, I mean, also like her big break besides Euphoria was in Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
and like they like she's like played like dressed down in the first Spider-Man.
I knew her from
version.
Disney.
Oh well, you're so much more
I'm a broccoli zoomer.
You're so
Congrats
much
on
more,
your psyop.
You're so much more cultured than us. Travis M in the chat says invite Rob Schneider. I did not. I'm sorry, I did not send Rob Schneider a message. I decided to shoot my shot at Jamie Kennedy, but never got a response from
Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, darn.
I'd like to get Jamie Kennedy on this show.
That would rule.
All right, let's hold off on the rest and we will come back. All right.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yes, exactly right. So, all right, we're gonna move on. Oh, I like him from Scream, but yes, also that. We're gonna move on to Chelsea Handler, guys. So you have been forewarned that unfortunately there is a video to go along with this. Should we start with the video, Mary, or should we just go right into it?
Well, basically, Chelsea Handler
Birth control.
has made a video topless recently telling men that they should get a vasectomy because it's a feminist move.
Should we watch it?
So, yeah, let's
just
react to the horror.
You've been warned, guys. Hold on. Is there audio problems here?
Oh, hello. It's me, Chesty Handlerberg. You caught me giving myself a mammogram. All good, you two. As a woman with natural breasts, not that that has anything to do with this, it is time to explore vasectomies. Since the beginning of time, women have been ducking and diving and dodging pregnancy face first or Pikachu first. And frankly, they're exhausted. We've had to listen to men say things like,
but using a condom doesn't feel so good, or can't you just take birth control, or oops, I forgot to pull out.
Enough, you horny little pigs in blankets. Do you know how painful it is to get an IUD placed? It feels like a mousetrap in your uterus. And sometimes those things don't even catch all the mice. And birth control? You think I want to be an adult woman with acne? Or have mood swings? Or get a period so heavy it feels like the Hoover Dam just broke? I don't. Everybody already hates women enough. I don't need my insides to join in on the fun. Women are tired of making concessions for men, especially in the bedroom. We have already been through enough letting you wear socks while you penetrate us. So man up, men, and if you can't do that, enjoy the company of your hand. Vasectomies. One snip and that's it.
I would rather rub my hand with sandpaper before touching her. Sorry. Like
it's just the unnecessary crudeness is really what bothers me about female comics these days. Like, why are the only jokes you can make about your genitalia and sex? Like, that's it. And I don't like when male comics do it either. It's not creative, but like it seems to be the only thing that the female comics rely on for clapter, basically. Yeah. And she doesn't even have an audience for this. It's just odd when Chelsea Handler, the self-proclaimed feminist, is on the same page with the red pill PUAs. Like, recently I saw a tweet from @RationalMale that said the quickest path to becoming a high-value man: number 1, don't get married. 2, avoid family creation. 3, vasectomy in your 20s. 4, lift consistently. 5, eliminate sedations. 6, learn game and networking. 7, play to your strengths, build wealth. And 8, resist easing up on your focus. I think Chelsea Handler would get on board with that message because it means that men won't start families.
I think it's so telling that
there's a $20 one right there. Hold on, Dane.
CK said Chelsea Handler, the human epitome of doth protest too much.
Kinda, like, cause she goes so hard in one direction. She goes so hard in one direction though, and I think there's a fair statement there. 2 more there.
Big super chat from Joe Schmo 32 Electric Boogaloo.
Welcome back, Joe Schmo.
Said, I don't want to hear about Chelsea, so I'd like to say Guardians 3 rocked. Didn't need to be an MCU expert to get it. The villain's motivation was that he did not believe in God and therefore did not value life.
I'm going to see it this week. So
interesting.
I will be seeing it.
Bullet Shepherd said, not just my opinion. FBI, before they were woke, the FBI is woke now, that's the problem, investigated and Venona Papers?
I thought it was the Venora Papers. I could be wrong with that.
Revealed Oppenheimer to be a member of the Communist Party in the USA, also met with foreign commies.
There you go.
Interesting.
I do want to go back up to, apparently, let's spend a couple of minutes on each of these because these are big super chats. I do agree that Chelsea Handler she makes too many comments.
Yes! Thank you.
Alec Baldwin agrees. Alec Baldwin doesn't like Chelsea Handler either. Can you tell? Jesus. He's gonna.
It's the gunshots for me.
That was Kellen's idea. That was Kellen's idea. That was I would never be so insensitive until I was like, that's disgusting.
It was 1 bullet, not 3.
I was like, Kellen, that's disgusting. I love it. Let's do it again. Look, Chelsea Handler does protest too much and she focuses too much on this stuff, right? Like,
it's all she does. Just like Emrata, all they do for a living at this point is complain about men.
Yeah.
Like, just stop associating with men if you hate them so much.
It's also
but you're a sex addict, so you won't.
Well, it's also in the Taylor Swift camp of like, maybe after 30 bad experiences, it's time to start considering the possibility that you're the problem.
Yeah, you're the common denominator in all of your failed relationships with men.
And what she says in this,
why.
what I get from this video from her is that there is an eternal struggle for women to make sure that they can take as little responsibility as possible for any and all aspects of their life. This is a broad generalization, but you know what? In the free world, you are responsible for your own body. So if a guy says to you, oh, I don't want to wear a condom, then you choose to either not have sex with him, or you take the birth control, or you abstain, or you let him do it and risk the consequences. You're a free human being. You're supposedly an adult. You can make these decisions for yourself.
Isn't Chelsea Handler postmenopausal anyway? She doesn't have to worry about pregnancy anymore.
There you go.
It's over for her. But anyway, it's kind of ironic that she's complaining about the negative effects on your health that come from taking hormonal birth control. You're only allowed to complain about those negative effects when you're doing it to shame men into getting vasectomies or taking some form of birth control themselves, which they're trying to develop and failing at.
There's two more $20 ones right there. One from Fresh Meat $9.99,
Yes.
which is not one I've ever seen before.
Since you guys are in your eras so much, if you go through an Italian phase, is it a marinara?
Well, I eat pizza like every weekend, so I'm pretty much always in my marinara.
Love that for
like
you.
That's pretty much always true.
It was serving.
It was, for the most. Oh, that was good.
Okay.
That was good. And then one from Convincing Reality
said she's beyond the point it matters if someone is firing blanks. Odd that these types of women would rather have the sum total of their potential random flings sterilized than say, quote, not without a rubber, or sterilize themselves.
That's what I'm saying. Also, maybe what she should do, what we should really test is whether it works, because we just found out that, was it Jack Nicholson? Who is it that just had his 7th kid? Robert De Niro.
That was Nick Cannon, right?
No, Robert De Niro just had his 7th.
Oh, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers for Nick Cannon.
Right,
But he's 79, so having a kid at 79 is impressive.
Is it? I thought that it didn't matter for men.
No,
what age they are.
I believe your sperm count definitely starts to deplete after a certain period of time. So he's like, literally in one of the articles it said like, my swimmers are strong. You know?
It's so unbecoming to be 50 something and still be like, my angles, I'm hot. You know,
Yes.
it's like J-Lo's like, dude, J-Lo, grow. Like,
Yeah, but J-Lo's smoking hot
go
sticks, so she's allowed.
home.
See, I'm allowed to be a hypocrite here. See, J-Lo can do it all she wants because J-Lo's smoking hot. Chelsea Handler, she basically just looks like a bunch of like,
I think she's still good looking, but that's not the point though. It's about like the dignity that you're supposed to have in that later stage of life. I feel like Kate Middleton perfectly embodies this, is that when you're no longer in the prime of your beauty and your youth, then there's something more meaningful that you should be engaging in life as a woman. But now that we have taken away from women what makes them so potent and different and unique, which is their capacity to create and sustain life, then they're kind of this awkward third thing that we don't really know what to do with in society, and then they end up making cringy videos on Instagram like Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, I heard any swapping bodily fluids with Chelsea Handler is how the devil gets inside you. So
Wow.
I'm going to avoid.
You could say that for a lot of women, actually.
Yes,
these days.
that's probably absolutely true.
You never know if there's a portal to hell down there.
Well, I mean, it's more than likely like if you fall into the portal hell from Chelsea Handler, that's your own fault. Like you should have been warned off way before you got to that point. Like I'm just saying, right?
Yeah. She also made another video on Instagram I wanted to react to about one night stands, essentially claiming that they are a building block of your personality.
I mean, hers, yeah.
Sounds
I know.
Stand game. Nothing.
There's
will
another
teach
$20
you what
one.
you like and what you
hold
thank
on
God.
one
Go ahead.
second. High Voltage 75 said, I just read about De Niro. There is a 51-year age difference between his oldest child and the new one. His oldest child is old enough to be its grandparent.
Oh my God.
Maybe even its great grandparent. I don't think we know the sex of the baby yet, right?
That is amazing.
That's wild.
I would rather talk about that than Chelsea Handler in whatever the she's wearing here.
You don't like faster. Maybe you don't like missionary or cowgirl or a reverse triple axel back handspring into a double tuck.
That's because you'd break your hip if you did that.
Grandma.
I dated a figure skater once. You know how you can figure all that out right away? A one-night stand. Plus,
she really is pushing for like the degradation
Like, this
of
is
society.
literally someone possessed by demons.
Like, and as somebody who doesn't give a crap if somebody has one night stands, there's a large gap between me not caring if you do it and me telling society that it's a inherently good thing to help advance your personality.
She's like a horny teenage boy. Like, I don't get it.
nobody tries as hard as they do on the first time. Let's face it. Here's the best part. If you didn't enjoy it, you never have to see that person again. Time saved.
That sounds like a cope. Nobody ever wants to see her again. And she's like, yeah.
It's like Chelsea Handler when her ability to pair bond has just been destroyed.
It's so
I don't
gross.
even know. I don't even want to know how many digits are in that body count.
I don't.
She's walked the earth for too long.
It's gotta be triple.
It's insane. And I saw a tweet this morning where someone said, like, it's supposed to be a white pill that the average body count for women in the US is like under 10. Under 10?
You know.
Like, where are our standards anymore?
She's triple digits, 100%.
Maybe even more than that.
That's
no way, 1,000.
She you know, I mean, at the very least, she's keeping a lot of STD clinics.
Dude, it's gotta be
in business, I'm sure.
It's actually plausible that it's close to 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I
mean, she's preaching to people that this is the correct lifestyle.
Well,
yeah, it's all so gross and makes me like, no, just no.
And then all of the comments I saw were just,
go queen.
yeah, like one said, did someone say coronation? Because the new queen has just been crowned. Thank you for this important PSA, penis service announcement.
Are there male analogs to this nowadays? Like, are men allowed to
I mean,
what do you mean?
The red pill community.
It's literally the red pill men, because
yeah, but that's not mainstream. I'm talking mainstream.
It's becoming incredibly mainstream.
They're
Andrew
not
Tate,
hanging out in the same circles as Chelsea Handler.
They are the internet right now.
But
Andrew Tate is, as he says he is, the most influential person on the internet for men, especially young men.
I'm talking
Which
more,
is like,
I'm talking with the Hollywood space. That's the internet space. I'm talking the Hollywood space. She's a mainstream preaching to normies.
well, in the Hollywood space, the women get all the platform.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter anyway.
Well, that's why the question I'm asking. I
you
said,
can
is
have
there
more
even...
influence on the internet just tweeting at an audience at this point than having the traditional medium. And the tweet that I read out telling men that they should become a high value man by getting a vasectomy and never having a family and making money until they're well late in life. Yeah. It's actually just liberal feminism, but repackaged for men. It's the same thing. It's get your bag queen, but for men.
I mean,
it's like boxed wine and cat litter for men.
But for
it's
the men,
same thing.
For a lot of like, oh, there's a $20 one right there.
From CK, you can tell she's absolutely terrified of getting older, losing cultural relevance, being invisible to younger men, irrelevant among younger women. She's right on course to adopting 5 chihuahuas or a small African child. I
don't even think she'd go that route. I don't think she likes children or kids. I don't think she would do that. I think she's too selfish to do that.
I think a lot of people in Hollywood who don't want to go about the traditional route of surprise, surprise, having sex and then getting pregnant from having sex, they adopt a bunch of African children instead.
See, Robert De Niro hates, Alec Baldwin hates Chelsea Handler so much he went off twice in this segment. It was, you're right, it wasn't 3 gunshots.
Yeah.
It wasn't 3 gunshots. Fake news. We're fake news here. Just whatever you guys do, if Chelsea Handler's walking by you, walk the opposite direction and then take some type of antibiotic when you're done. Just if you're in the same air. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
It's also ironic that she started this video topless because it's just totally unrelated.
It's got nothing to do with it.
And then we'll complain about being objectified by men.
Yeah.
Like the only reason the people clicked on the video is because their tits are out.
They want to be objectified. They just want to be objectified on their terms.
It's about clinging to that plausible deniability.
I get annoyed when people talk about, I was actually talking to someone yesterday about the argument of like, when women dress up to go out, right? And they say we do it for us. And then people say, no, you do it for the attention of men. But the truth is, the answer is somewhere closer to the middle. Everyone wants to look good and feel good. And when you get to the attention of the opposite sex or whoever you're interested in, that validation fuels that feeling. It's never so black and white as one or the other.
It's for themselves, it's for other women, it's for gay men, it's for straight men.
Yeah.
Everyone has mixed intentions in doing things, but honestly, people don't even try to look good ananymore. So. And
I never want to know what the handler is. Nobody best ever tell me or describe whatever the hell.
What did she call herself? Like Chesty Handlerberg?
Yeah. It was they said it up here. It was like Chesty. Why? Because she's awful.
Who writes this material for her? I know it's not hers.
Chesty Handlerberg. Also remember, this isn't something that she just whipped up in like posted, oh my gosh, I'm so funny. There's editing that went into this. There's sound effects.
It's scripting, lighting.
Yes. Like, it's BS.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I literally feel my brain going into sleep mode with this story.
Just think, if her dad had taken her advice, we wouldn't have to deal with this.
Oh no.
Damn.
Just saying.
I won't say that. It just.
Hey, I'm just taking her thoughts to the logical conclusion that if her dad had listened to her, we wouldn't have to hear about this crap.
It's also just still not even holding men accountable for their side, the culpability that they have, that they share for casual sex being the norm now, and like hookup culture and promiscuity. It's still not holding them accountable. It's just coming up with a band-aid solution that doesn't make them stop using women as receptacles for masturbation.
If anything, it encourages
it to continue and become even more widespread. But I think more people are waking up to that, being a problem, and possibly, looking for commitment.
The term cope initially can sound like a dismissive insult, but in all honesty, pretty much every time I've seen people use cope, it's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Like this is textbook a cope.
Well, it's hard to know for sure, because like we're kind of attributing our own interpretation of why she's doing this on there, but it makes sense. Right?
I wanted to address this too. We talked about this before the show. Vasectomies aren't actually reversible.
Not always.
It's not that cut and dry.
Yeah.
It's not that
cut and dry.
That snip and dry.
Snip and dry.
But I looked it up, and they say that it's reversible as a marketing ploy, basically. The longer that you go without reversing it, the less likely it is that it's possible to reverse it.
Really?
So with each passing year, you're less likely to be able to reverse it. And that means that it would basically sterilize a bunch of men in their early 20s.
Well, she would love that. Because they're all nihilists.
What do you do with them then? Because once you have this permanent class of, sorry, we've got one from Nate. If it was for themselves, women would be dressed to the nines at home. Well, how do you know they're not? Are you in their homes?
Yeah, Nate.
I've done that.
Well, all I'm saying is that it's never so cut and dry as to put all the blame or culpability one place, right? Like everyone who goes out and wears something, and hopefully wears something that they feel like they look good in. Yes, you want to look good to other people. That's human. Look good to other people. That's human nature. But you also want to look good for yourself. But it's about the attention from the other person as well. So it's always falls somewhere closer to the middle. Nobody wants to go out or should want to go out knowing they look like crap. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be a thing. Mm-hmm. At the very end, it's like, and I don't dress up when I go out, but I just wear stuff that I feel confident enough in because it's what I like to wear.
Right.
It's never, nobody ever admits that these things are never so cut and dry. And that's one of the hardest parts about a lot of shows like this, or when you talk about topics like this, because everyone wants to put the blame or the cause to one area where it sounds the most shocking. And it's not the truth.
Mm-hmm. The point I'm making is, if all of these men watching the video listened to her and took her instructions, they got vasectomies, they never create families, they never have marriage because that's antiquated, right? Yep. They're gonna become the lonely incels that are dangerous to society that the media class in Hollywood keeps complaining about. Men who are alienated like that are dangerous to society. It's a fact. Like, I don't know what problem she thinks she's solving. She's
not solving a societal problem. She's just trying to make sure that she can have as much sex as possible without having to worry about getting pregnant, without having
She's 48. She's not going to get pregnant.
She wants to make
That's
sure
the craziest part of this video. She doesn't have to worry about getting pregnant anymore.
She wants to make sure that as many women as possible don't have to take responsibility for their own reproductive health.
It is definitely, as one person said, rooted in a deep resentment and envy of younger women who still have a chance at living a more fulfilled life.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
Yeah. All right. We got some super chats there, Mary. Let's do it.
Yes. No Tax Good Tax said, what gives her the right to tell men how they should handle their reproductive health care?
There you go. Perfectly reasonable question.
No testicles, no opinion.
Oh, where's the sign? I need to make that sign.
Grofty said, handler will resort to extreme plastic surgery.
Think so? Yeah.
If she hasn't already.
Yeah.
Oh,
she still looks recognizable to before, but
well, maybe the quicker she does that, the less I'll have to listen to her talk.
Botox. Michael Aleo said, the Chelsea Handler vids remind me of how witches prey on young women to steal their youth. She's trying so hard to pretend she's young.
Hello, fellow kids, she says while holding a skateboard.
Hello, fellow kids. I'm still at an age where I could bear a child.
Exactly.
Wink, wink.
All right, let us move on. Mary, tell us all about Elizabeth Holmes now that she's back in the news.
Yes. So the last time that we heard from Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos, it was in 2016, and she just did her first interview since then yesterday in the New York Times. And I was kind of shocked to find this out because I just finished The Dropout on Hulu, where she was played by Amanda Seyfried. I want to kind of explain, if you guys don't know, what the whole situation is about, what the whole scandal was.
Go for it.
So she made this company called Theranos when she was like 18, 19 years old. And it was a charade the whole time. And she was basically found out when she was about 30, 32 range. Basically, it sold a product/service that you could prick someone's finger and get a drop of their blood, and it would perform the same blood tests that vials of their blood would, right? Yep. So you could test them for diseases, test their vitamin levels, stuff that has like serious consequences for their health care. And it was all a sham the entire time. The machines that they used didn't work. What they did was they would take a drop of that person's blood and dilute it in water, and then just use the same machines that they use for normal blood tests and just give them fake results. So it gave people fake cancer diagnosis.
What?
It gave them fake HIV diagnosis, fake miscarriage diagnosis. Literally, like, made people think that they were on the brink of death by getting fake test results.
And then her excuse is like, but don't you feel great now that you know that that's not true?
And you know what? She got away with it because a lot of people felt good about themselves and pat themselves on the back because they wanted to see a girl boss with red lipstick on the cover of Forbes magazine in the 30 under 30 list.
So what you're telling me is that when a woman... I'm going to stop myself before saying...
Please continue.
Before saying what the hell I was going to say. Nope, never mind.
All right.
I just want to say right here, if I saw... Woo! She looks absolutely... she looks batshit crazy in this photo.
She has the crazy eyes.
She has the eyes of a psychopath. She really does.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone ever fell for this.
Like, I see those eyes...
kind of like a messiah of girl bossery.
I don't think, like, when I see those eyes, I don't see somebody who wants to give me a cancer diagnosis or tell me information about my health situation. That looks like somebody who throws your clothes out the second floor of a house while screaming at you and threatening to light it all on fire.
Gaslighter.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's exactly what she was. She also was notorious for speaking with this fake hoarse low voice that's more like commanding than a young woman would ordinarily have. And
does she do this a lot?
Yeah. Steve Jobs is her idol.
In the portrayal by Amanda Seyfried, she would constantly purse her lips and like nod at you like, yeah, well, when you're doing something revolutionary, people should ask questions. Asking questions is a good thing. And then she just wouldn't answer any of your questions.
So she's just insanely high.
Yeah, crazy eyes. So basically this piece in the New York Times was a total puff piece. And I don't mean that in exaggeration at all.
Because they love criminals.
They love criminals, and it's feminist if you're female into criminal.
She's gonna have a Netflix show soon.
Well, they already did that on Hulu, but they were also going to do. They were all.
How do I know?
They were going to do a movie of her played by Jennifer Lawrence, but then Jennifer Lawrence backed out of it. I think because of the Hulu series.
Probably because she found out she couldn't be the first female to end up screwing over
She wouldn't
a bunch
be
of people.
shattering that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And then also Kate McKinnon was in the running.
Yeah.
For the Hulu show before Amanda Seyfried. But anyway, this article is just absolutely bonkers insane. Here, I'll just read some quotes. One. Ms. Holmes' defenders said that the feverish coverage of her downfall felt like a witch trial, less rooted in what actually happened at Theranos and more of a message to ambitious women everywhere. Don't girl boss too close to the sun or this could happen to you.
Dude, they can't even commit fraud. It's like fraud.
You could literally kill people doing this.
And they're like, you know what? It's fine because you're shattering the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
They basically excused her of all of her deception because she had to do that because people underestimated her. Because she's
I could just imagine
they underestimated the product that didn't exist.
I could just imagine the editor in the newsroom be like, yes, it's time for women to be bloodthirsty psychopaths. Yeah. Get over it.
You underestimated someone who wasn't who they said they were. Good for you.
Can I say, this is the sickest part of me, but some of my favorite videos on the internet is people that have been recently fired from like Google, BuzzFeed, being like, this is what I do as an unemployed single woman at DC. And I'm like, oh,
there's the one lady who's like getting the call that I just lost my job.
Go get that $20 coffee again.
Like here I am applying for unemployment. Like that's and look, and nobody's laughing at people who lose their job. That's not good. No. However, I will
except for Elizabeth Holmes. I'm laughing at her.
Like I'm serious. Like
her former sorority sister was quoted here saying, "There's an unspoken lesson for female executives. You're allowed to be successful, but not too successful." Yeah, that was definitely Elizabeth Holmes's crime. Is she was just too successful. She was too much of a girl boss.
Wasn't there a point in time when like 3 of the main arms dealers in America, like arms manufacturers, were all run by women? I think that was like Boeing.
Really?
Yeah, there was a time when like a bunch of like our weapons manufacturers were like run by women. I was like,
interesting.
I was like,
as long as they're not the ones operating those weapons.
Yes.
When told that Jennifer Lawrence pulled out of portraying her in a movie, Elizabeth Holmes replied, quote, "They're not playing me. They're playing a character I created."
So maybe just the character should go. Maybe just the character
palpable.
should go to jail, not her.
And why did she create that public persona, I ask? I believed it would be how I would be good at business and taken seriously and not taken as a little girl or a girl who didn't have good technical ideas. Newsflash, you were a little girl who didn't have good technical ideas. So you're correct. Your imposter syndrome wasn't imposter syndrome. You just were an imposter. Like, that's insane.
Here I am every day worried about whether I can do this job or not. And she's over here like, so what if the product I made doesn't actually exist?
Her feigned low voice was, quote, "a sign of the impossible gymnastics that female founders must perform to be taken seriously."
Tell that to all of the women who run like there's female heads of modeling agencies that don't need to do a deep voice to gain attention or respect.
Gay men certainly don't have to.
Sorry, like not a thing.
When I was young, I wanted to be a journalist so bad.
Oh, wow.
But for moral reasons. Because in my mind, it's like, oh, like what could be more moral than a journalist?
Well, okay. I will say
theoretically,
journalists aren't totally trash because a journalist at the Wall Street Journal was the one that blew the cover on Theranos to begin with.
Fair. But imagine being the person that gets assigned. Listen, so you got to defend this lady that would give people fake diagnoses. Okay? And the person that, I'm being really good at self-censoring today. And that person's going to be like on it, you know? And
got it, boss.
But how? How do you do it, you know?
It's just they're so freely doling out these sympathy brownie points to Elizabeth Holmes when she could have killed people. In fact, she almost kind of did, because one of her employees was threatened so harshly to stay at the company and was like harassed by private investigators until he killed himself. He literally killed himself while working at this company because he used to be their head of chemistry, and when he started asking questions about the chemistry, they just put him in a desk job up in the front office, and they were like, just sit here and do nothing all day for 4 years. And he was like, shit, I have to stay here to have health care for my cancer.
Oh my God. Dude.
And then he killed himself. So yeah, quite literally, this is exposing the monstrousness of women, which is a taboo in our society that we can't talk about.
Dude, that isn't it though? Isn't that like the taboo? Like,
and that's why these shows keep doing so well, because people love the female true crime stories. We're not allowed to criticize women except for when they literally murder people. And even then, it's a stretch. So,
well, what did he do to deserve it? It's the female version of why was he dressed that way?
There were a lot of, I actually listed out here the reasons that they're trying to get you to sympathize with her. Number one, she has a story of being raped when she was in college in 2003 that changed the trajectory of her life and made her drop out of school to start her business. Okay. And the cops didn't press charges, and no one believed her because it was 2003 and we live in a patriarchy.
Have you guys ever watched Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Dude, in Shark Tank, every time a pitch is going down, it's like, listen, I was molested at 12. Like, they literally just go for it every time. And
the trauma dumping ensues.
Every time. They just start crying. It's like, and it's like, okay, well, you got to pitch.
All right, here's $1 million.
Basically.
Yeah. She now volunteers 12-hour shifts to a rape crisis hotline because she's such a good person. Another thing, she is now a doted mother to 2 babies. One is a son named William, and another is a daughter named Invicta, which means invincible in Latin.
Oh my God.
And she has a dog named Teddy, and she's in love with her boyfriend, Billy.
Maybe Billy tried to sell her a birth control pill that you could take with just a prick of the finger.
It's so funny. They asked Billy, what do you do for work, while he was taking work calls? And he was like, oh, you know, just investing in businesses and stuff. And he just wouldn't elaborate. So he's probably doing a different scam entirely. She's now buried in legal fees that she will never get to pay. Boo-hoo, so sad.
When does she go to jail?
It's supposed to be, well, it keeps getting delayed because she keeps getting pregnant.
Really?
And that's another thing.
That's kind of incredible. You can just do that forever, just until like by the time she's done, she's gonna be 40 years old.
Yeah.
She just keep getting pregnant.
She's like reverse Cincy Handler.
Strategically files appeals with her pregnancies, and she's like breastfeeding in court and stuff. So she's gonna be facing over 11 years. Probably less when it's all said and done, but 11 years right now.
11 years. Sentence. I feel like any guy would be like 10 times.
You know what's
life.
worse? Her boyfriend, who was the co-conspirator in all of this, who ran the company with her since 2009, he got 13 years.
Obviously.
And he's serving it right now.
Hell yeah.
And also, she now claims that same boyfriend, Sunny Balwani, abused and controlled her and the company and hid all of their shady tech secrets from her through the entire process.
Oh, she's
also dumb.
She was just a sweet little innocent baby who was lied to about the technology, and he was the mean man that met her when she was 18 and indoctrinated her and made her his plaything.
It's amazing how being a girl boss is also very much akin to being a toddler.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Lock her up, dude.
From her to Sunny Balwani, you are the breeze in desert for me, my water and ocean, meant to be only together, tiger. Meant to be only together, tiger.
Yeah, they would call each other
Balwani.
tiger.
Okay.
And the
I hate it.
physiognomy on her is
hate it.
undefeated.
As she explained it, Sunny Balwani kept close control over her every action.
Of course.
She detailed extensive domestic abuse and sexual assault. She said that Sunny Balwani forced her to stop speaking to family and friends. She didn't have friends, that's a lie. And pressured her to adopt the black turtleneck, red lipstick persona. Quote, he always told me I needed to kill Elizabeth so I could become a good entrepreneur. This doesn't even sound real. This sounds like a movie. And they made a movie about it.
American Psycho, yeah.
Ugh. She lived by his entrepreneurial tenets that included not sleeping for more than 5 hours, going vegan, drinking green juice, getting to the office daily by 5 a.m., and not drinking alcohol.
You ever seen that video? Like it's the video where he's like, it's like every financial podcaster. It's like you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and you make an LLC. Now you own NBC. You sell NBC and you buy a Komodo dragon. And he's like, and then you fast for like 372 months.
And she fell for the meme.
Yeah, she did basically.
Here's her playing dumb. Quote, it was only when people started to raise questions about the company that I started to see he was not who I thought he was in the business. And then that made me start to question everything else.
What a legend.
Women really do exist on easy mode. I'm sorry.
And in the show, in The Dropout, there's this incredible scene where they're alone and they're getting found out, and this piece in the Wall Street Journal comes out, and she starts heavy gaslighting him to make him think it was his scheme all along. So she's like, if you did something wrong, then you can just tell me. I care about you and we can fix it together. Like, but I need you to tell me if you did something wrong, because I don't know. And
he's like, didn't you sign this form?
You know, we met so long ago. Like, you've been in my life for so long, since I was what, barely 18?
Dude, I am legitimately fascinated by female psychopathy. Like that chick that.
You should watch this show then.
Well, it's because it's because male psychopathy is often more brutal and like physically brutal, whereas female psychopathy is way more terrifying.
I think it's because
you can only die once. You can die 1,000 deaths from a female psychopath.
I think it's because when guys get caught, they just become sullen and they're just brooding and like, oh my god, whatever's coming is gonna be horrible. But when women get caught, they just like they start wailing and
like, I don't know what happened.
It's like, what?
I don't know what happened.
Is this wrong? I don't know what's being right. And then
and it's working. In this example, it is literally working. People in the media are now sympathizing with her.
That's why, honestly, Jesse Smollett is kind of genius, because he just went the chick mode.
He kind of did.
Yeah.
Tried and true method of getting people to believe you.
This is
It's not just females who can be whammon, apparently. Also, another funny detail. After the company was dissolved and she ended her relationship with Sunny Balwani, she immediately found a new boyfriend who was in his early 20s, and that is Billy Evans. They went to Burning Man together.
Oof.
And she, at Burning Man, burned an effigy of Theranos to mourn the loss of her company. And ever since has just been living her dream life on the run with the love of her life. Don't you love that trajectory?
Just
for
remember,
her?
guys, women can be evil too.
And it's so funny how this stupid journalist openly admits that she's falling for it. It's like she's gentle and honest in a quiet way. and you can't help but listen to her and believe her and just be taken into her fantasy.
It's almost like that's what made the whole con work in the first place.
That's why she was a cult leader.
She likes bagels.
Nice job.
But with not too much cream cheese. It's like, what?
Your job as a journalist is to question and doubt everything that you're hearing.
Yep.
Instead of idolizing the person that you're interviewing. That's insane.
I just can't anymore with these people. I can't.
I have seen Elizabeth Holmes fan cams.
Oh my goodness.
And Anna Sorokin, but even Anna Sorokin is not nearly as bad of a person, obviously, because all she did was trick other rich people into thinking that she was rich.
Yeah. What are chicks gonna do when we have like AI lawyers? And AI
lawyers.
Yeah, and AI lawyers like, she is being emotionally manipulative to reframe the crime.
We need to recalibrate it.
Yeah.
I can't with it.
Those are going to be biased as hell.
I'm telling you right now, like if you look at this picture and you don't get the fear that something is off, you haven't looked. You need to spend more time. Go to the mall, to an airport, people watch more. Because if you see this face, run.
She can't smile.
I wonder if she's watched the show as well. She's so self-obsessed, she might have. And she's one of those women who I fully, admit that I'm one of them, who you can see the whites around her iris all the time.
You can see it's like if their eyes are wide enough that you can see around the
when
eyeball.
You're introducing a new technology, people should ask questions. And that's a good thing. Like
she's literally in villain pose, like the like the
Mr. Burns.
Yeah,
she's like Mr. Burnsing. Right
Excellent.
And the sick part is like after she got exposed, she was calling up all her investors and board members and being like, "This is obviously just sexism. They don't like to see a woman in power."
Does she kind of look like Chelsea Clinton to anyone?
A little bit, but skinnier. Definitely skinnier.
There you go. Family
hotter.
of psychopaths. There you go.
But she's not high enough that I
Not
think she
hotter.
could really get away with this, but she did it.
She's just a different
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Shall we? Let's move on. I'm afraid I'm gonna start investing in Theranos if we stay on this any longer.
Yeah. You're gonna make an article with ThinkGuest.com. It's like, well, actually.
Yeah, I think Theranos is a fantastic idea. I think it was just misunderstood because of sexism and the patriarchy. Mm-hmm. There's a couple there.
Okay.
There's one at the bottom there.
Disco Jensen said you can be openly misandrist on YouTube, but criticizing feminism is not allowed.
I feel like we're allowed to. We criticize feminism here. Maybe that's why. Or
are we shadow banned?
They're shadow banning us. Like if people have been suggesting we should also start uploading to Rumble. I'm starting to wonder if maybe it might be an interesting experiment to see how the show does on Rumble if we uploaded there as well.
Possibly.
And one more.
Another one from Disco Jensen. Make mental institutes great again. Is that MEGA?
I think they
Go
were
USA, I love you.
In IRL, they were talking about how before Reagan, there was like...
They shut them all down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of people have a problem. I mean, I'm one of those people that I have a hard time with that one because on one hand, I'm like, yes, it certainly feels like we could use a few more mental institutions, but at the same time, I'm also not a fan of like, are these commitments by family members? Are they commitments by the state? And then you get into body sovereignty and it becomes a whole thing. I also wonder about how much of the mental illness we see nowadays is amplified by the fact that you're watching it on social media where people are incentivized to act like buffoons.
Look, when you have no ID and you live in a tent and you're just strung the F out, defecating on the street and harassing people, I don't think you have bodily sovereignty anymore.
I mean, but they live in states where the government incentivizes it and tells you to do it.
Yeah, I know.
So
and that's a bad thing.
Is that their fault entirely, or is that also the state's fault for not?
It's both. I think they deserve better, and I think everybody around them deserves better as well.
But here's the thing. A lot of times when they try to solve the homeless crisis, what the problem they run into is that these people simply don't want the help. We can't make them.
You can, though.
You cannot.
The crazy part is that you can.
You cannot. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be allowed to just make decisions for someone.
Brett says a should or shouldn't statement on the show.
There.
Never thought I would hear that.
Chicken
Bacon Skinwalker Ranch said, are y'all aware of Gladiator 2 currently in production with Pedro Pascal and Denzel? Is that old news?
Yeah, no, what's his name in the movie from the Russell Crowe from the original Gladiator. He said
he's all old now.
Well, I mean, Denzel Washington's no spring chicken either.
He was awful in The Pope's Exorcist. I'm done with Russell Crowe.
They are not investing in young actors at all. They completely gave up on him. Unless it's Zendaya and that incredibly effeminate looking
Tom
guy.
Holland?
Tom Holland,
or
Timothy
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
Or
for other Bo.
I bet you we could name a couple of younger male actors.
Austin Butler
is one. There you go.
Army Hammer.
They tried to make Scott Eastwood a thing for a while, and
they're all buck broken, you know.
They are.
And they tried to make Scott Eastwood a thing for a while. They tried to make Scott Adkins a thing for a while. They definitely tried to make Jai Courtney a thing for a while, and that never stuck.
I've never heard of
Every time Brett says names, I feel he's like a random name generator. Like I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
And also Susie McLucy.
Scott Eastwood is Clint Eastwood's son.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen him.
Yeah, Jai Courtney is just he played Captain Boomerang in Suicide Squad. He was in Terminator Salvation. He was in either Salvation or Genesis, one of the two. He's one of those actors where he's only good when he's playing a bad guy. The second they try to make him a good guy, you feel like you're immediately being sold on something. You're like, I don't know how I feel about this. This doesn't work. So just my personal take on it. Let's move on and let's talk about French influencers, shall we?
Yes. So France is finally cracking down on the influencer problem. They are early to the punch, and I have to applaud them for it. They are about to make regulatory agencies for influencers, and they're about to legally define what an influencer is and start cracking down on all of their scams and deceptions.
Less government is always better. Still my personal take. Even if I think the influencers are abhorrent and stupid, I still think the government shouldn't be involved.
It's not just influencers, but also mainstream celebrities who have been peddling scams online lately, specifically gambling scams. It's insane. Yesterday, I saw one with Jamie Foxx and Vanessa Hudgens promoting gambling. Yeah. And
what
then
the hell does Vanessa Hudgens got to do with gambling?
I don't know what Vanessa Hudgens has to do with anything. And then this article also mentions Lindsay Lohan doing the same thing. Jake Paul did it, which is
that makes more sense. Like the Paul brothers doing it makes perfect sense.
But Lindsay Lohan, Vanessa Hudgens, Jamie Foxx, why?
Okay, Lindsay Lohan's like, do you remember? Like, she's like, do you remember Mean Girls? Are you a mid-30s woman with a high-level job with no husband? Do you have
a lot of disposable?
Do you have a lot of disposable income? Come gamble with me.
You know, buy shoes, don't gamble.
The incredible thing about the Paul brothers, at least the older one, Logan Paul, is that they're like chick psychopaths but handsome dudes.
You think?
Because he's all about the emotional manipulation, fake cry.
BPD meltdowns every time
he
they're
does
called out for doing something wrong.
I'll never forget a video he has. He's like, I recognize that my white privilege, and he's just like freaking out. It's like, dude, take a breath.
So France has had enough of influencers and their bullshit. So it says here they're going to legally define what an influencer is. A new legislation proposed by Voyetta and MP Arthur Delaporte aims to crack down on the types of products and services that influencers advertise to their followers. So it says they're going to create a regulatory framework around influencing in Europe, and it's going to basically ban influencers from promoting cosmetic surgery, financial products and services such as cryptocurrencies. We've seen a lot of crypto scams.
Oh yeah, and NFTs.
That is the Logan Paul app was the cryptocurrency NFT scam, right?
The NFTs are also a big one.
He just got a bunch of investors, but the app never existed in the first place.
The other thing that's funny about this is like America's like, hold my beer while we pay influencers for the government. Like we're like literally the Democrat Party is hiring influencers.
Right.
Like
exactly.
I don't know what is worse. They're both bad.
So
oh my God.
They're also about to force creators to disclose when they place filters on photos and videos, their advertisements. And for promotions that they do involving gambling or betting, they will have to add an informational banner warning their followers about the risks of those things.
I mean, that's a fair. I mean, like we do that here with, like even when we have political ads, it says like you have to. This ad was paid for by so and so.
Sure.
Dude, Community Notes has revolutionized the game.
Oh yeah, Community Notes is incredible.
They will call out any fake news post. Yeah. It's insane.
The ones on the subway, dude, were incredible.
They even call out like Photoshop and
Yeah.
video editing and stuff like that, like video tampering, which I want to talk about the video filter thing. Like if someone is advertising a skincare product or makeup and they have a filter on their face, is that false advertising, or is it just what the big companies have been doing all along?
Well, I mean, but it's also like, because we do that here, like there's regulations on like how they can advertise food, on like the products that are used to substitute for food. Like
Sure, but it's not as I mean, they still put glue on cheese in commercials. Like that's not against the rules.
Do they put? They're allowed to Photoshop pictures of women that are in Neutrogena ads?
Exactly. Yeah. So why should an influencer who is a much smaller fry not allowed to do the same thing?
Yep.
That doesn't seem fair to me.
See, government getting involved, bad thing. Never a good thing. Influencers bad.
We'll have to see how it works out for France and then move forward.
It could be very easily like if the government wants to squash something that they don't like, they could just do that with these regulations. It also look, as far as I'm concerned, influencers bad. Government always worse.
Mm-hmm. Under this legislation, would Liver King be put in prison?
Maybe.
Like he was selling these vitamin supplements to his followers and his primal diet. And
the primal diet.
He was taking tons of steroids to get his physique, lying about it. And that's a medical outcome. Like that could have medical consequences for people.
You know what his solution could have been for that? He should have just been a steroid influencer.
I never found out where that lawsuit went. Like that class action lawsuit that was being raised against Liver King. I need to check out.
I mean, stuff like that takes years.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be in court for ages.
We'll have to see if that sets a precedent.
What if he was just like, hey, take steroids like me?
It says there were a lot of victims of scams from medical practice to financial advice. People lost hundreds or thousands of euros and sometimes have substantial physical damage from following wrongful medical procedures. It was an opportunity to regulate the whole sector. An opportunity to regulate.
They love to regulate. And like I said, whenever stuff like this comes up, it always leads to abuse either by government or whichever the largest company that can lobby the government wants to put in place so that they can squash the competition.
You can kind of take it to its logical conclusion. Like, you can't, sell an ebook on marketing anymore, or you can't be a, quote, wellness coach because it takes the place of a therapist or a fitness trainer. I don't know. Like, where do you draw the line? But I have seen influencers just being absolutely buck wild recently. I saw a headline, social media influencer convicted of lying about her children's kidnapping. In 2020, Katie Sorensen posted a widely shared Instagram video in which she claimed that a couple tried to kidnap her 2 children at a Michael's craft store in California.
Those Michael's craft stores can be dangerous, I tell you.
Yeah.
That's where I got my first Tamagotchi.
People will do anything for clout.
Yes, they will.
It's been proven over and over.
Wait, didn't you see there was a lady in here who was a mom influencer, but she wasn't a mom?
Yeah, we've also we've got this article of a lot of different stories from people who were influencers, people who knew influencers in real life, and what are they actually like behind the scenes. So one of them says, a person I know became a mom influencer, and she wasn't even a mom.
Amazing.
But it's the perfect excuse, right? Like, I don't want to put my kids on camera. It's a privacy thing.
Of course.
But you still get all the brand deals.
It would be like me being an influencer for Big and Tall.
Dude,
you think you could use deceptive angles?
Yeah, to make myself like, oh man, it's tough being tall.
Dude, I think the next level influencers that I'm like, what are you doing? Is the Gen Z financial advisors.
The ones who break the mold and they're no longer afraid to just be like, this is financial advice. I am a financial advisor.
But it's like their voice is still cracking.
They can't stop making podcasts.
FTX is bussing, yo.
They can't stop making podcasts where they have the stand microphones that they hold in their laps.
They hold it with them. Yep. I actually convinced, like, there's a wired mic downstairs that I've considered using in this job, like we're just so I can move around more freely, but then I'd be out of the frame even more because I'm already a fidgeter.
How about the kind that have the microphone that goes down?
Oh, so I can look like I'm doing a TED talk or selling a Theranos to somebody.
You can be the Tony Robinson of pop culture.
Shattering glass ceilings as a Slavic person.
Yes,
in media.
As a short Slavic person in media, I am here. I would almost be able to crack the glass ceiling if I was tall enough, but I'm not, so I can't quite get up there.
But
one of these testimonies says, I worked for a girl boss influencer who had her own beauty brand. She was nice sometimes, but was also a horrible boss. Low pay, no benefits. She made me drive her to a different city for a business meeting one time in her car so she wouldn't have to pay me for gas. even though I told her I was uncomfortable with the idea. After a long day, she made sure that I drove to get her food so she could eat, and she didn't offer to get me food. So I ended up asking if we could stop at McDonald's. I worked in marketing, but she was treating me like her personal assistant.
Okay, there's 2 questions here. Did she say yes to letting her get McDonald's? I need to know. And 2, like, I want to know what she means by saying, like, I was uncomfortable with the idea. I can imagine that in her mind she said that, but what she actually said was like, oh, I don't know. And then the lady's like, no, it'll be fine. And she's like, okay, fine. Like, did she actually say, I'm uncomfortable doing this?
She said she said that, but who knows? I don't know. One said, I work with beauty influencers in real life on a daily basis in digital marketing, and we mostly work with people over 250K followers. I have yet to meet any that I can actually stand. The ones we've worked with are the most insufferable, demanding, unprofessional group of people I've ever seen, and their agents are just as bad.
Dude, I worked with one. That was like one of the first big accounts I was ever associated with. And this person, she basically got paid in clothes. They would sponsor her surgeries and her supplements.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, she was all about being all natural, and she was the most silicone woman being entity I've ever met.
Nothing wrong with just being like, I'm fake. Just say you're fake. I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, like thousands and thousands of dollars in surgeries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never ends well.
I still say that regulation is not a good idea. And like, I have more concerns about like the fact that the US is now employing influencers via political parties. Like, there should absolutely similar to how here in the US, when you're giving a political ad, right? And you say like, oh, Ron DeSantis took a bunch of trans people hostage when he was 15, and they're like, this ad was sponsored by the by so and so for governor, right? Like, if you're going to be a political influencer, maybe you should have to have like, so and so is funded by this political party or this cause which is connected to this political party through Act Blue.
We see that that's necessary now.
Yeah, I mean. At the same time, a fool and his money are easily parted, and maybe a fool and his ideology are easily found. Like if you fall for some Gen Z kid with mushroom hair telling you to vote blue no matter who, maybe it's your own fault.
I think there are more broccoli zoomers willing to do it for the Republican Party than the Democrats.
Broccoli zoomers is the greatest name ever. Broccoli zoomer is
Small
incredible.
Broccolis.
I love it.
Another testimony here says they were friends with a micro influencer.
And that's $10,000. That's 10,000 subscribers or more. So
a lot of people change the definition.
I've seen 100,000 for micro influencer too, but is it?
I don't know.
I've heard 10,000. I've heard 100,000. That's a big number difference.
I think it's 10,000.
So Mary,
I feel like it used to be. Well, you would be too.
On Instagram, yeah. Well, I mean, not in this space, but in skating, I would be technically considered a micro influencer.
I think that old Instagram 10K is like a lot, but now it's nothing because there are so many bots and there are so many scams.
Dude, Cernovich retweeted me the other day.
Oh, yeah?
And it was the most horrifying thing in the universe.
What did you say?
It basically shitting on boomers, per usual. And all the replies were boomers just telling me to pull myself by the bootstraps. And I was like, I have to delete this.
Love that.
I do
Don't stand your ground.
It's just that, dude, they're the worst people on earth, and I want no interaction with them. None.
That's why you just tweet and just put the phone down.
But it's the worst.
Just leave the post for them to see the bout.
Oh, they were the worst.
You just mute the responses.
I can't. I don't think I can even take being I'm not at 10,000, but I don't think I could even take being a micro influencer. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I imagine it is.
Because anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
We've got another video here to react to of an influencer who faked her accent.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a New York accent, but like maybe it's Jersey. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Here we go.
You have a face full of acne and you just can't seem to figure out how to cover it up? Watch this.
I'm sure you'll be seeing me around, but this is one of my favorite buildings. You can come here to hang out with your friends, study, grab a bite to eat.
Is applied. I'm gonna do tat on the other side.
That freaking did it.
People thought that this was real.
An acquired taste, okay? Kim Kardashian had this absolutely.
You have a face.
Maybe that's her real accent, and she was actually faking it before because she was self-conscious.
That's what
about
you
it.
would claim, right?
That's what like a lot of people would point out that Matt Bomer, the actor Matt Bomer, there's a guy who's a thing in acting. He's from Texas, and he's worked his whole career to get rid of his Texas accent to allow him to get more roles.
Texas accent, I would understand that in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But for TikTok, you're just faking an accent so that people find you charming.
My favorite is this guy who like it's people who like besmirch pizza and calzones and cannolis, and he goes, "This freaking guy!" Like he's like, wait,
cannolis, unpopular opinion, not the
they
best.
suck. I know, yo. Here we go, sister.
What's so great about cannolis?
Nothing.
And this guy,
anything's better.
He's like, "This freaking guy," and he's like, in the whole
calzones, pizza, all that stuff, great. Cannolis, I don't understand the hype.
Calzone is depression pizza.
Holy cannoli.
I like all of it.
It's a pizza sandwich, and it's like, listen.
Strombolis, everything just in different shapes. I really like all that stuff. Cannoli is just a no from me. I'd rather have any other dessert.
Why are Italians
I'd rather have cheesecake, tiramisu.
Why are Italians not fat?
They eat less quantity of food.
Okay, well.
It's also higher quality, yes, but it's less quantity.
But they eat pasta all day.
Because it's not all day, though. Because they appreciate their food more.
I appreciate my food plenty. Okay.
Andreina
you like shovel it in your face.
What are you talking about?
It says, as a New Yorker, that is a Boston/New England accent. We need Andy here to talk about it. Where's Andy when you need him?
I needed a fact check on that. I don't appreciate my food. I'm not a... What is it? Live to eat person.
Steven, I don't know what I dislike more. The people who are like, you shouldn't enjoy eating at all. It should just be seen as a source of fuel. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, go kick rocks. Like I don't need to hear you tell me what I can or not, what I have to like or not like about eating.
Those are people who put protein powder in absolutely everything.
Ugh. It's got to be fuel,
Disgusting.
nothing else. All right, we oh man, we almost made it to 4 today. We got a couple of super chats there at the end there, Mary.
I think just one from Grofty. Influencer is fake, most likely. PCC, real people.
There you go. The other reason why I would never want to be an influencer is like you can't really. Like, how do you go, like, imagine, like, one day you just want to become a private person again. I guess you can go back to having a private account, but it's very hard to then separate your real world from the fake world that's been built around your life as an influencer. And I, like for me, that's like, you say, like, micro-influencer, but in skating, that just means that that you know a lot of people in that world. It's not like it's not the same thing, not in the same way. So,
dude, I'm still on the cannoli kick.
Yeah, people in the chat are mad at you guys for cannoli takes.
I mean, how mad are you? Are you going to argue with us?
Yeah.
Or?
They want to be argued.
I feel like dessert has been figured out. Like apple pie a la mode. Like, congrats, enjoy. Like, that's it.
Apple pie isn't my favorite either.
Well,
I mean, it's good. Favorite? I'd rather have apple pie than cannoli.
Or brownie a la mode.
Yeah.
Anything with ice cream.
Chocolate is my
chocolate and ice cream is like, you're done. You won. Congrats.
Anytime like we would go get food and Tim would be like, does anybody want dessert? I was like, I was poor growing up. We didn't get dessert. Like at home we got dessert, but if we're at a restaurant, I'm like, that's just overindulgence.
You know why that's funny? I think I was at a restaurant with like Tim and a few other people at some point, and then like I couldn't get alcohol because they wouldn't accept my ID, I just got cake instead.
Wait, they wouldn't take? Why wouldn't they take your ID? Because
they thought it was fake.
Because they thought it was fake because it's vertical.
I've had that happen. I've had that happen in Minnesota. I was in Indiana or something, and they're like, "Why does your license bend?" Or it's in like Boston or something. Like, because apparently wherever I was at them, it might have been Boston, and like theirs are like a hard plastic license, and like the Minnesota license is holographic and bent, so they're like, this looks fake, and they're like, well, give me my crap, dude.
Like
my 2 decades ago,
my Puerto Rican driver's license looks like a botched arts and crafts project, and that was like government standard.
Endorse bread pudding. I love bread pudding. It's such a poverty dessert. It's amazing.
Nothing wrong with that, right? Like I like now if I eat dessert, I just feel overindulgent. Like if I do that,
I eat dessert
first
and then everything else.
And then everything else.
Oh, we've also got another from Grofty Buck.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Words to live by.
I thought more people were going to argue with you guys about cannolis. That's all right.
Well, they're defeated.
Chad is always disagreeing with my food takes, and I am undefeated. I bet you monsters are some pineapple pizza ass fools.
I have found
fools.
I have found that that food seems to be a common place to disagree with in these
Low
spaces.
stakes.
Yeah, like everyone can agree to disagree on certain things. It is what it is. All right. Oh, also I wanted to point out, like here in Maryland, when I got my new license, they don't have your eye color listed on there, and I finally in the state of Minnesota was able to get a license that listed 2 different color eyes. Like because I never knew what to put, so I just put blue, and neither of my eyes is blue.
You weren't represented.
I was not. Like so now in Minnesota you can have what's called dichromatic, and I thought it was going to list like hazel and brown like on the license. No, it just says DIC, so my license just says
That's
dick.
just 2 shades, Brett. It's like I got 2 different color eyes, brown and kind of more brown.
No, one's basically gray.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're kind of gray.
Brett is like.
Look at him.
Yes. But yeah, so like
I am a minority.
It's listed dick on the license because it says DIC.
Based.
Nice.
Not good. All right, Dane, my friend, let everyone know where they can find you.
Well, you can't find me at Waffle House.
For more bad food takes, where can they find you?
Okay, that's
Dane?
your bad food take.
Anyway, at Dane Font on Twitter, DANEFONT.
All right, Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. If you want to argue with me about cannolis, send your complaints there. File a complaint with the cannoli department.
They're not bad, but they're not exceptional.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen rather than watch, we're on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.